All right, folks, we are live here on the High Council, here on World Class Bullshitter. So, folks, I am joined tonight by Tom for Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Quiet, watching glitter.
That's my movie. Don't you dare.
I know. How you doing?
Up next, we have Mecha Random 42.
Hello.
And tonight, folks, we are joined by not one, but two very special guests. First off, let's say hello to our friend YellowFlash. What's up, man?
Great. How you doing?
Thanks for joining us tonight.
And the second one...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish
I
YellowFlash.
was gonna say, you're the perfect guy for tonight's topic, so thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
And I have to apologize before we introduce Quarter Black Garrett because it's my fault. He was supposed to be on last week, and I overslept. I had a nap. I did not have a nap today. I made sure I was awake for this shit. Sorry, Quarter Black Garrett. Welcome back to the High Council. My bad.
No, it's cool. I get to be on a stream with YellowFlash again, so everything's all good. Thanks for having me.
You boys not going to fight?
No. Come on.
Shit.
What? I mean, you want us to fight? I can.
Yeah, I was hoping
I'll take my shirt
there would be
off,
like some fireworks. No, I'm just kidding. Welcoming back Quarter Black Garrett. I want to thank you so much for being so understanding and coming back and joining us tonight.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
So, folks, we apparently have dueling horns outside. Great. So we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff tonight, folks. Star Wars: The High Republic's in the news for a brief moment. WandaVision may have just broken all of our perceptions of the MCU, and then some Snyderverse stuff, as well as a few other things. So before we start the topics, Garrett, it's been a little bit since we've streamed with you. What's been new, man?
Nothing. I released a couple videos on my channel. I released 2 new videos about my creation of a 2-foot-tall Batman the Animated Series statue.
Nice.
That I've been working on for a month or so. Finally dropped those, and that's pretty much it. I mean, just we got our show back started on Steven Crowder's channel. We're doing Louder Crowder again.
Cool.
Up in the mornings, Monday through Thursday. So that's what I'm up to.
And YellowFlash, what have you been up to lately?
What was that? What?
That was a secret.
No, I just said, what have you been up to, YellowFlash?
Oh, no, just same old grind. Enjoying WandaVision and a few other things. That's been the biggest surprise. How that show's turned out.
I know it was when I was talking to Tom yesterday. I was like, Tom, we need somebody that knows comics that can talk about WandaVision because I'm dying to talk about it. Nobody on the WCBS show is watching it. So I don't really, I'm with Jesse. We watch it together. So we talk about the show, but I don't have enough people to interact with.
Yeah, we already know what each other thinks. So
yeah, so
it's gotten boring to talk to each other. Did you? Yep. And yep.
Yep.
How about and not really. Okay. That's our entire conversation.
That's the extent.
So hail to everybody in the chat tonight. We got a lot of people joining us. Do us a favor, folks. Hit that thumbs up button to let us know that you enjoy what we do here on the High Council. And also, if we hit 1,000 thumbs up next week, you'll get a Good Morning Pop Culture. Sadly, last week's show did not hit the threshold of 1,000 thumbs up during the show, but the offer will stand for tonight's show. So tell me you guys want the show, and I'll make it happen.
And to finish what you were saying before, Jeff, the reason I brought YellowFlash on is I've been wanting to talk to him about WandaVision because he has some interesting takes and ideas on it, and he can attest. I've been trying to make this happen for like 2 or 3 weeks now. So finally, I found a way.
See, this is like perfect time for me. Like in the morning, it's tough.
No, I know, and that's what sucks is like, when we do our morning show and when we do our reviews, I'd love to have you on. But of course, I get it. People have stuff to do, and, it just doesn't always happen to work out.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are ready to talk about the topic because when we get to it in a moment, it's one of those shows that seemed pointless in the beginning, and now I can't wait to watch it. So
yeah,
I will talk about if I think if it was good marketing, bad marketing, this, that, and the other. But it's going to be fun to finally get to kind of nerd out about WandaVision. So, folks, before we get to have the fun, let's briefly talk about Star Wars: The High Republic. So we've been covering this. It feels like an eternity, Tom and Mecca, because we've mentioned this piece of shit event every week here on the High Council, but it's for good reason. This is another embarrassment from the Star Wars camp. And today, we have a little I don't know, victory lap, if you will. So Christina Ariel, we talked about her in a video. We don't have anything else to say about her or comments or anything like that. But her first episode of the High Republic show dropped on YouTube this week. And the numbers are okay for an official Star Wars thing, but they're not great because we all regularly beat this show. So I just wanted to use this as a prime example to say, hey, dividing your audience and calling people racists doesn't work. And it was the worst long game in history. And I don't care what you want to do, it will never get you back the support of the audience. So,
no, man. What are the like to dislike ratio? What's that like?
So currently, as of this article's publishing, it had over 100,000 views. It had 6.2 thousand thumbs up and 3.5 thousand thumbs down. Wow. So I guess that's
terrible.
Good?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
That's kind of high for this one. I think a lot of us didn't know it was there. I think it'll probably get ratioed once people are aware that it dropped.
Oh, once people start making videos on it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about this. I'll make a video tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same. I got another video coming out, but this is another one I'm going to make. Honestly, I just wanted to bring this to people's attention and Star Wars attention. It's like your weird mystery plan, all this shit just was not a success. So do you think they're going to continue to go down, or do you think fans are going to find the High Republic and go, man, this is such a great show. I can't wait to invest all my life and time and money into this? Historical.
I don't think anyone's going to care.
Oh,
it's going to go away.
No.
So, Garrett, what did you think of some of the press release stuff with Ram Jamaram and Leox Gayassi and all this stuff?
I remember like 6 months ago, longer than that, when they first released those really early concept art, and it was just trash art. It looked like they paid somebody on Fiverr to design some characters, and they just looked so bad. And then they came back like a month later and were like, "Oh no, there's some good concept art." It's like, okay, sure, whatever. But yeah, this like weird slow release, and I don't know what they thought. I guess they're just assuming that their current fan base doesn't know anything about like any Star Wars lore whatsoever. So they're like, oh, okay, what? It's based like 100 years prior to the prequels, right?
Yeah, like 300, I think.
Okay, so fairly recently. Yoda's still, hopping around. He's still there. I don't know what this aesthetic is supposed to be, but it looks like it's further in the past than they say it is. But then I don't know. It's so strange to me. I don't know why they even decided to do this. Like,
yeah, it's set in the time of no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about this time. Like, if you're gonna do something like this big, go, okay, we're gonna do Old Republic. Oh, everybody loves Old Republic. What are we gonna do? We're gonna tell some new stories in there, and then you set your stuff in an established. Like, it's like they thought, okay, we're gonna do our own thing. We're Disney, so we don't want to touch any of the other white male created things. We're gonna make our own, and then we're gonna put all this diversity and inclusion all up in it, and then we're gonna make it unlike any other Star Wars era ever. Which is like, okay, I get it. Like, you want to try to set yourself apart, but just 300 years ago, like, I don't know what they were trying to go with this thing. It's just so confusing to me, and it never caught my eye as a Star Wars fan. It looked really bad. It's supposed to bug Jamma Ramba Dam. What is that? What is that thing?
Well, now we have body positivity Jedis.
Yeah,
because that's what's important.
Isn't there the fat mechanic one? Had oil all over his face.
Right.
Is it a he? I don't even know.
Who knows?
I don't want to get the pronouns wrong.
That's offensive in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
There's just nothing badass about it. It just looks just so weak. Like, there's something about like the Legacy era. It looks fucking badass. Like this metal, and this, it's a descendant of Luke Skywalker, and he looks fucking awesome, and he turns to the bad side, and then there's the Empire kind of coming back, and there's these crazy looking Sith, and it looks badass. And then you go to the Old Republic, and that's badass back there. You got like the Mandalorians, the Mandalore, and all that stuff, and it's really cool. And then this is just like, I don't want to be sexist, but it feels very feminine. You know, it's a very feminine,
non-binary
kind of like, yeah, you know, like a non-binary. I don't have anything against women, but it just seems like it's not trying to go too far in any direction. It's trying to be like this weird, we're trying to be inclusive to everybody. So it's this milk toasty kind of soft world. It's all kind of soft, you know, we're all kind of, you know, there's nothing too hardcore about it. And I always liked the outside stories about Star Wars that were just metal as fuck. Like those were the stories I like to listen to and read. And this just does not look like that at all.
It's really kind of sad that the kids' entertainment today doesn't have that cool factor. People go, well, you're old guys. How do you not? Where's the disconnect? Blah, blah, blah. But like you said, Garrett, the milquetoast nature of these characters. This is from the Old Republic, the game. This isn't from the High Republic, the series. But there is a coolness to all of them. I mean, you introduce Darth Vader. He chokes a guy out. You know, right. Kills the guy instantly. There's a level of fear. There's a level of like excitement. The thing is, you run the gamut of emotions with any good piece of entertainment. If you sit around bored out of your gourd, it's a failure. But if you're sitting there engaged with all these different feelings the entire time, like it used to be, then I think that's a sign of good work. And I don't get that from this. Everything is kind of bland and homogenized. Yeah. What about you? When all you started coming out, the press releases, etc.
You broke up. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. I was asking you, what did you think about the press releases / what we've seen from the High Republic so far before we move on?
I think it's all pretty terrible. That I've only read the first comic from Marvel because there's no way in hell I'm going to read any of those books. Is anybody reading those books?
No, hell no.
No.
Hell no.
But the first issue is terrible. You have that giant lizard guy, so they have to have representation. So he has no arm, and this is a world where everyone gets cybernetic arms. Yeah. But this way he can be proud of his disability, I guess. It just doesn't make any sense. There's nothing, even though the lightsabers, they're like using it to stay in that one. She's like the standard like Marvel black character because she had that cyberpunk hair. Yeah. And she's stopping herself in place with their lightsaber. And it's like, I don't think it works like that. Yeah. Like, they don't even know what they're doing.
Cross guards now.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy.
I want to be like specific on my comment about like the femininity thing. Is like, think of it like it's a spectrum, right? Okay, it's a spectrum. So it's good that you have characters that are feminine, like Princess Leia, Padme, and then there's characters like Han Solo, Darth Vader, like manly characters. I want all of that. I want all of those types of characters. What these kind of look like, every single one is like a feminine-esque soft character. Like there's no male. Like I want to see a fucking toxic male pick up a fucking lightsaber and start chopping some people. But
it's made for kids, dog.
It's made for kids. It's got laser swords for wizards and shit.
Space wizards and shit, dog.
Yeah, Tom, what kid's buying a $4 comic?
That's a better question to ask.
No. They'll buy Roblox stuff for Fortnite, whatever.
Exactly.
They're buying video game.
They're buying the Mandalorian skin for Fortnite.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
What you mean? They're not buying figures of Smucker's Jamaram?
Yeah, come on, guys.
I would buy
Jamaram up in your jam.
I keep saying with all this. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was noticing with all these representation and diversity characters that they always make them as ugly as possible. Right. And I'm like, Star Wars is just calling the audience ugly. Oh, you need to see yourself represented on screen. Really? You think we all look like this? Do you think we're all ugly and limbless and different? Like that's just insulting. That's just really insulting to all of us.
Well, Mecca, they're the ones that Kathleen Kennedy tells us, oh, we want the universe in Star Wars to reflect the real world. When we didn't want that. No one had any problem when Star Wars didn't.
That's the whole point of Star Wars, is that it's not the real world.
I don't know if you get this. It's a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. That's a dead fucking like Jabba guy. What's up?
I've been listening / reading this book about the formation of Star Wars and George Lucas as a person. And if Disney would have at least listened to the first, I don't know, couple chapters of this, I think they would have had a better foundation to build whatever the hell they were trying to do. But, you know, it's not like they had all these novels and shit to reference from all these years ago. So
No.
this is
Just
their
pages and
fate.
pages.
Darth Uncle Fester. I just had to read that. That made me laugh so loud. Thank you, Eric Bay Anderson.
Are they really using their lightsabers like fucking flashlights?
Yes, they are.
Flashlights don't exist.
They've done that before. They've done that in games and stuff. Use their lightsabers as flashlights.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yes,
they never
but
did in the movie
only-
though.
But are they using their lightsabers as fleshlights?
Ew.
That's
That
a
would be
totally
dangerous. That's
different.
dangerous. It's a-
sex toys.
That's an
That's a
Axel
weird
Braun
kink.
production.
No, they actually have the fleshlight. Is it a lightsaber or is it the carbonite block that's a flashlight?
Good.
I know they have lightsabers.
I never looked them up, but hey, I'm sure they're out there for folks. Now the Avengers one, that the Infinity Gauntlet, that's a different story.
Different strokes for
Oh
different
yeah,
folks.
that's the fist one. Yeah.
See, Mecca, you already know.
God.
You're the
Kick
expert,
Fisto's
Lana.
fist.
I just think this looks like death from Bill and Ted, Tom.
Yes.
It does a little bit.
Don't overlook my butt. Reaping burns lots of calories.
And then there's Princess Zelda without the pointy ears. So yeah, there you go. There's a dead hut. I love to hear what everyone has to say about this property, because I can understand if this was, the people in our community didn't like it and everyone else loved it, and we were these outliers and people were like, oh, you guys are just hating. No, everyone's shitting on this one. People that give it reviews give it very soft reviews. No one has any interest in this. It's not tearing up the charts. But we're told all these terrible things about ourselves, and we're supposed to support this. So, folks, I just want to tell you thank you for not supporting the High Republic.
Well, did you see our video on how basically you can buy your way onto the New York Times bestseller list?
Oh, yeah, I covered that too,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jeff made one before.
Shit's a
Yeah, there's a lot of
scam.
politics behind the New York Best Times or bestsellers or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of politics behind that list.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past Disney to fucking buy their own book, put their shit up there.
Probably they
That's what they did with the
probably
movies.
did with their tickets on a lot of these movies, because we
Right.
kept seeing reports of, hey, they always buy the front 25 seats and they're always
That's
empty and
strange.
they're all online and no show, just no show. They buy the tickets and then they don't show up. So
Mecca, have you worked retail before?
yes.
No
years.
call, no show is just a phrase
Yep.
I'm used to from when I worked at
No
fast
call,
food
no
when I was
show.
younger. So,
Yep.
Which means your ass ain't coming back. You fired.
my mom was no call, no show, no job.
Damn straight.
That was it, because she was
Yep.
a manager. She was
Yep.
like, I'm not putting up with that.
Mm.
Not unless your ass is in prison or somebody did.
Mhm.
Her rule was if you called, even if it was a dumb excuse, you were cool. But you got to
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just gotta let us know.
Exactly.
Or in the hospital. That's the only other excuse I would have accepted.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like I think I saw my mom fire one person all the years I worked with her. You don't know her. Jesse knows her. My mom's a softie, so she's not gonna be freaking out about that stuff.
She'd be all like, I'm gonna fuck some people up, they fuck up this shit. Like, just don't do it again.
I want to fire people I worked with for not showing up. It's like, okay, you're here from 6:30 to 10:30 and you show up at 9. Why the fuck even bother?
Oh, those people are the worst. Yeah, it's
I
like,
hate
why
those
did you
people.
even try to get a job? And it's like they just show up
They
and
just
they
don't show up. What the
Ugh.
fuck is wrong with you? Now everybody else is on the hook.
Now, see, this is how interesting the High fucking Republic is.
Nobody's talking about it.
We're talking about literal, like, working in, like, fast food and retail. That's how fucking interesting
Well, that's
the
where
High
most of
Republic
the
is.
that's where most of the editorial from Marvel worked at before they worked there.
And that's
Yeah.
probably where they're going to work again in a few
Yeah, they're
months
gonna
if they're
go
Why
right
do
lucky.
they have
to
all
it.
that fucking bitchy ass nippy attitudes about being in this entitlement shit? Because you get these people who can't even do retail jobs, and they act like their shit doesn't stink, and they act like they come in off the street like you owe them something,
Yeah.
and then they don't show up half the time. They can't do their fucking job that you explain to them. They don't understand anything, and then they wonder why they're not making more money or getting promoted. It's like, because you're a shit employee. That's why. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're terrible.
No,
Ugh.
because you're an evil white male.
Yeah.
Sorry, not you,
I-
Mecca.
I know,
I
I
think
know.
Mecca railing on people.
I got years of retail. Like I could do a whole channel ranting about retail experiences. I worked super early in the mornings. I was doing like the signing on the racks of clothes, and nobody knew how to merchandise anything correctly to the point where you could actually stick a sign on something, and just nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. They come in, they screw everything up, or they don't show up on the days you need them. Like if you need the sale done in 4 hours before the store opens, you gotta actually show up. You kind of have to be here on this day, not on the day when we're not doing this.
Retail.
Yeah.
Retail. I have a whole. I won't derail the show any further with retail.
I'm with you though, Tom. What you said. Literally anything is more entertaining than talking about the High Republic.
I'd rather talk about the entrails of roadkill than the fucking High Republic.
Well, I'll ask you this question then. Did you guys see any Super Bowl commercials that were better than the High Republic? Oh, wait.
They were the entrails of roadkill.
Those weren't good
They're all
either.
terrible.
I didn't hear anything good.
The worst one was that Wayne's World one. Fucking
Was it
Cardi B.
bad?
B.
I only saw like.
They brought
You know,
Cardi B in to do it.
I would almost agree with
awkward.
you, Yellow Flash, if it wasn't for that fucking Edward Scissorhands fucking one.
Well, that was a
Dude.
big insult. Did you see Cadillac posted? Because somebody's like, "Thank you for paying a respect to Johnny Depp," and Cad's like, "Yeah, he's not a part of this." And
They
then
deleted
the
that
tweet.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking. Guess what though? I got it.
Can you
wanna
send
see
that
it?
to me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please send that to me.
Absolutely, positive-fucking-lutely. Let me find it here. Where is it? I got it. Just give me a minute.
So there was a bowl that was super.
Yeah,
That
it wasn't that
happened
super
in
this year.
Had the
dude.
worst ratings in like
Oh God.
what since the
brilliant.
1960s.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I guess
because-
you can only tell white people they're pieces of shit so many times before they turn the
Yeah.
channel.
Well, not just that. You've got 2/3 of the country or more that are unemployed right now. The last thing they want to fucking really do is sit there and watch a bunch of fucking adults.
Listen,
get
you
paid.
unemployed piece of shit.
Yeah, millionaires telling you how oppressed they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're privileged. You
Fuck
unemployed
millionaires.
bastard.
And that's all I heard on the, because I had the radio playing because I ran downtown to get some lunch, and they had of course it was all over the radio because it was the pre-show or whatever, and that's all it was the NFL and social justice in the NFL.
Yeah, you give me a fucking job so I can be rich enough to do something about it. How about that? Pay me $1 million and I'll go out and be an activist all you fucking want.
And there's your screen right there, the Johnny Depp one you were talking about.
Yeah. Like, why? Just don't say anything.
Why would you fucking come out and say that shit? Like, man, it's these social media managers that are all like millennials and think they can, oh, I've got control of Cadillac, so now I can say, it's not Cadillac, the actual fucking CEO of Cadillac tweeting this shit out. It's some social media manager that is 100% came out of college, out of their gender studies and all that shit, and they're going, Johnny Depp is not involved in this in any way. Like, just don't say anything. Just
Well,
don't.
first of all, fuck you, Tim Burton, for even letting this happen in the first place. I just got to say that.
Does he have a say in that?
I think so, because I think I read somewhere that he had given a blessing for it or some shit. And then like Winona Ryder for being in it without Johnny is just kind of low, considering.
Fucked up.
She
probably
didn't
asked
know.
him. I'm
bet
sure
she
she
didn't
asked
know.
him. They're still on really good terms, so.
Yeah, he probably was cool about it. I get that. But you know what? She should have just been like, no, we can't do this without Johnny. Or at least acknowledging him.
He is Edward Scissorhands. Like,
Yeah. As weird as that movie is, that's his character.
Well, not only that, I mean, I have no problem with these little goofy, like, ads. No problem at all. I mean, it's obviously rewriting the end of the film anyway. But it was just the way that the obnoxious way they went about ignoring Johnny Depp. That it just came off very cringe. Like here's the story of a boy with scissors for hands, not him, the other guy, or this other guy. Just the way they said it, and no pictures, no way of like just paying homage to Johnny in any way. Because I could understand they couldn't get him because he's Johnny Depp. But that wasn't even the case, because clearly you have this tweet here where
They
they're
didn't.
Like, no,
They didn't try. They even try to get him for sure
Probably
because
not.
of
Doesn't
everything
look
going
likely.
on.
then do something else. And that's what Andre said too. And it made, it's like, then why even do this? Do something else that's completely, unproblematic then. So fuck you, Cadillac. I really don't care. It's like, of all the stupid shit I saw this weekend. And then the most insulting one though, of course, was the Michael B. Jordan one. Cause I'm like, let's see this flipped. If it was a bunch of guys acting like fucking sex crazed hornballs for like Scarlett Johansson or some shit like that, and the blowback that would get. But we're just supposed to go, that's cute because they're women, going sex crazed over Michael B. Jordan.
Well, it's okay to sexualize men. It's not okay to sexualize women.
Exactly.
Unless they're fat. Now, if they're fat, it's all good. That's okay. But if you're a slender woman, a petite woman, you have to be in like a Victorian dress or a burqa.
Don't be showing no ankle.
Yeah, no ankle, no elbows.
I just want a clip of content. Don't be showing no ankle.
Hey, you, don't be showing no ankle now, woman. That's slutty.
Get back in line.
She's a slut woman. She's showing an ankle.
That floozy.
Damn floozy.
Harlot.
It's like we're living in Red Dead Redemption right now.
They want to take us back there. Yeah.
She was wearing nothing but a parasol.
It's clear that the High Republic is stupid, so we're gonna move on from this.
It's uncouth, as
It's
Darth
stupid,
Tiki
and nobody
says.
gives a shit about it.
Yeah,
Like,
we've
that's what I
actually
love
moved
about it.
on to other things. That's how important and fucking.
I mean, I will regale you with stories of working at rallies before I'll ever talk about reviewing the High Republic. So, I worked a lot of fast food for many years. Ugh. So I want to see what's up with the audience real quick, read a couple of the super chats, and then we're going to go and talk about WandaVision, folks. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and let us know what's up. So first off, Roger Haynes, thank you very much for your super chat sticker of a thumbs up. Same to you. We also have Space Monkey 0899. Thank you very much for your generous super chat. He says, this season's anime has crushed Western media with good storytelling. The West only hopes lies with independent artists, buy physical media, then salvage franchises after the woke fails. Well, Space Monkey, you know how I feel about a lot of these comments. YellowFlash, are you reading any manga or watching any anime from Japan?
The one I'm watching right now consistently is Redo of Healer.
Somebody's told me about that one. I think Anna.
Oh, it's something else.
What about you, Garrett? Do you watch any anime or read any manga?
No, I'm uncultured. I think the last thing I watched was the One Punch Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Still counts. But yes, Space Monkey, I agree with you. You should buy physical media. As all the streaming services keep beefing up their libraries, they just will censor movies or take them away. Or wasn't there a big one that was just censored or changed recently that everyone was upset about? Oh no, sorry.
No, but Dumbo and a couple other movies were moved to like.
They were taken out of like the family area.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking
what
of.
is it? Peter Pan, because of the
Peter Pan and Dumbo.
The racist Peter Pan.
Racist.
Can't talk about them, Red Man.
It's such a weird thing to be up in arms about.
Yeah, Peter Pan has definitely been guilty of radicalizing people into racism for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, all of the white kids wanting to join the tribe and having fun.
I know a lot of people watched
races,
Dumbo and went and burnt a cross in somebody's driveway. So
Yeah, and Dumbo like used a bunch of racial slurs and that fucking mouse was just talking all kinds of mad shit about Mexicans.
Especially when he's on the sauce.
I missed that entire thing. But thank you, Space Monkey 0899. Samurai Vader says, Tom, I stole your sheet. Also, hi, Black. Not you, Jeff.
Hi.
It's my shits.
My shits.
SH Rebel 08, thank you very much for the super chat sticker of a cup of coffee. Albatross Flight says, M. Night Jamarama Ding Dong. He said the name.
But Jamarama.
Whoa, strawberry, Jamaram. Whoa, strawberry, Jamaram. Blackberry had a bag.
Tom, I think your second life is in food jingles.
Oh,
You're the
fuck.
Clark
You have
Griswold.
no idea, dude. Like, my dad always said that to me. Like, you should have got into advertising, kid, because I could come up with some of the stupidest shit. Like, remember, like, when they used to have the old rollover stuff for, like, you know, your minutes on your phone? Like, I had the idea for a commercial would be a guy getting pulled over. And he's like, sir, did you realize you're doing 55 and a 25? He's like, yeah, but I was only doing 25 and a 50 before, so I figured I'd just roll over my miles. If only life was as simple as your cell phone plan.
Rollover minutes.
Yeah, and then you see the guy getting hauled away.
Do a few commercials for you because I mean, the ones that we've been writing together are hilarious.
Yeah, like we always do that
He's
shit
really,
on
he's
Mead
really
all
good
the
at
time.
like the
Yeah.
voiceovers for him.
Yeah, Rob's good at that shit too. Like Rob and I could probably run a whole entire like advertising company, but we get like canceled after our second campaign.
You guys should do that for a YouTube series where you guys, the whole guys of the show, is you and Rob work at a fictional advertising company, and each week somebody comes in, you pick some real advertiser, and you pitch bullshit for their company. That'd be hilarious.
That's a great idea.
Are you listening, Rob?
Yeah, where is Rob? Well, he's probably working.
Well,
on
he's
my
supposed to.
commercial.
Well, he actually was supposed to be recording a video for Andre.
Yeah, that
but
too.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. We'll read a few more, and then we'll move into WandaVision. First off, we have Albatross Flight again. We read that one. Slash and Burn Theory says, William Shatner literally had to school people on Star Wars lore. That's sad.
I saw that. I love
What
William
happened?
Shatner's salty Twitter account. It's
Oh, it's
great.
great.
Oh, he was like,
So good.
first of all, they were like, if Kurtzman wants to make Kirk bisexual or whatever, that's his problem, kind of thing, basically, in so many words. And then he's like, it's so sad that Star Wars has to break up a happy family. And he has a picture of like Mara Jade and Luke and the kids and stuff, and right underneath the thing of Luke being gay, kind of thing. And then, of course, I had to retweet it. It's pretty sad when the star of Star Trek knows Star Wars better than the people working on it.
Yeah, it's fucking sad.
Taker 610 says, ever had your RAM jam-rammed? HR pickup line.
You gotta go to the doctor if that happens.
Did you ever jam your finger in a door? It
Yes.
sucks.
Ouch. Or an electrical socket. Ouch. Adrian Vergara, Jhando4 says, it's for kids line is BS, and they know it.
Well, of course.
In regards to the High Republic. Of course.
It's for everybody.
Yeah, it should be for everybody. And if it is for kids, that doesn't mean they need shit entertainment. We were all kids. Everybody that's an adult now was a child at one point.
I
That's how
hate that.
science and time
I
works.
hate that argument. Like, oh, it's
Yeah.
for kids, guys. It was for kids. Well, I'd rather my kids not watch dumb, poorly written stories. Like, I'd like my kids to watch good written stories that are well paced. It tells a nice little moral story and actually makes sense. Like, why are we treating our kids like they're stupid?
I don't know. And
Yeah.
why would anyone respect that property outside of that small window that it's
Right.
for? You know, oh, we want this show to only appeal to 5-year-olds from whatever. Okay. So when those 5-year-olds grow up and there's no next demographic, that's kind of dumb. But I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he's like, yeah, I got into Batman the Animated Series because I didn't watch it as a kid, and it's pretty damn great. See, that was a kid show,
Right.
but it's 30 years old, and we're still talking about why it's great and why it won Emmys and shit. So I think kids deserve a better standard of entertainment. People should stop, phoning in the Cal Arts style of art and put out something that's going to sell toys and sell games and do all this shit. That's fine. Merchandise it. But make it cool. Nobody wants to buy lame stuff.
Because BlackBerry Jam-a-ram.
BlackBerry had a child.
Jam-a-ram.
There you go.
Damn thing went wild.
Yeah, right.
Jam-a-ram.
Do it.
Adrian Vergara, thank you very much. This amazes me when I hear excuses that Star Wars is for kids, yet we need to know how the Jedi smash. Yeah,
Right.
I saw an article pop up the other day. Who gives a shit? It's implied, and that's it.
I love the part where Andre brought up, he's just like, so basically you're saying all Jedi can have are concubines then. They can't actually have a real relationship. They just hit it and quit it. And like...
Hey, nuclear family, that's a no-go. You don't go there. They don't like that.
Like
They
women
want
in the
everybody to
galaxy be like,
promiscuous and all that kind of stuff.
that motherfucker told me he's a Jedi. I know he's lying. I can't be in a relationship. Bullshit. I didn't hear. He definitely didn't move the earth with me. I'll tell you that
got
much.
that line too.
He didn't move shit. So he can take that Jedi shit and go fuck off with his bitch.
What did I walk into tonight? I like it.
I am sassy tonight.
You should get sassy every week for the
It's
icon.
Garrett and Flash. They bring out the worst in me.
It's too good.
Let's see. We have Adam Wofford who says, my kid used her $10 for manga. She preferred manga instead and watches anime like Sailor Moon, Crystal, and the original Sailor Moon and / Fruit Baskets. So there you go. Adam Wofford has a kid who's not going to buy Star Wars stuff. And when I was in the mall the other day, there's this something Tokyo is the name of the store, and it's just got Japanese shit to the ceiling. You have your mecha robot models over here. You had SH Figure Arts. You had all kinds of cool stuff, and you don't really see that kind of stuff dedicated to your comic book shops, but those seem to be closing all the time. But you have these really cool anime and manga stores that pop up all over. So it's really the next generation, because we kind of grew up watching all these shows that kind of looked like they were inspired by anime, but they weren't really. And now we kind of just have come full circle. So
it speaks a lot to what a failure Marvel Comics is, that they had all these movies, like the biggest selling movies of the past decade, and they can't even get their comics anywhere near the popularity that manga enjoys.
But
Total failure.
It seems like they were like, oh, it's a second thought. We've got the movies, the comics will continue to sell, so let's just put our agenda all in all of them and push that. And now it's just completely crashed and burned, and it's not going to be around anymore.
Well, think about
the comic book store that I've gone to like for the past 15 years has almost completely phased out their comic book area. Like they've shrunk it down into like a little corner off into the side. Everything else is fucking pop vinyls and big board games, $80 board games.
Think
you can't
about
even get a comic.
Think about the guy or the kid or whoever that watched whatever movie with Iron Man in it, and they went to a comic book shop and they're like, check out the current Iron Man comics. Here you go. And it's fucking Riri Williams.
Riri.
Like, wait, it says Iron Man. Why is this young black girl on the cover?
Yeah.
Well, he's a hologram in her suit. He's still there.
Yeah,
kid didn't want to play with comics. I don't want to read that.
We didn't want to play with Obi-Wan Kenobi spirit action figure as a kid. You wanted the real guy, or you wanted to play with Luke Skywalker or something. So why would a kid want an Iron Man that's Jarvis, essentially?
Yeah, nobody wanted. That's why it didn't sell.
Yeah.
Now, did they cancel that book, or are they still trying to, make that character happen?
She's still around. Well, the character is going to have a big push because she's going to be. I think she's getting her own show. Right? She's getting her own show, Ironheart.
Yeah, and I think I heard
into the fucking wall. They're like they had a car in front of them called the comics. The comics drove right into the wall, and now they're going to take the movie series and go right into the wall with them.
I guess that's what
it's so sad.
Smart money is.
I mean, maybe. I mean, we keep hearing that, or at least the stuff we hear from some of the rumors keeps making us think that the MCU is going to be a thing. But really, if you think about it, to this point, the only thing that we've really gotten as far as a huge misstep has been Captain Marvel. I mean, you can really debate about the other stuff. And then here we go again to kind of segue into this a little bit before I know you got some more super chats to get through, Jeff, but like WandaVision has really been a surprise for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. It's a surprise for me personally because I was angry with the show in the beginning, and now I'm hooked.
Yeah, I wasn't angry with it. I knew where it was going.
Well, it wasn't about not knowing where it was going. My problem and the anger that I felt towards the show stemmed from this entire gimmick of WandaVision was to sell us this sitcom, and there was something more sinister underneath the surface. My problem isn't with the gimmick, it's that I don't like the gimmick. And I spend 8 minutes an episode watching a fake sitcom that's really not that entertaining, and then it gets really good at the end. Now, the first 2 episodes were just fake sitcom with little bitty, morsels, enough to keep me watching, but not enough to keep me, happy. And when we got to the 4th one, then I was finally invested, because we finally were watching what was going on. And now, we know a bunch. So I jumped the gun, so let me pull it back briefly. YellowFlash, we'll start with you, man. Where were you at from the beginning of WandaVision to now? Did you like it more? Do you like it more now? Elaborate, please.
I've liked it since the beginning. Oh, there's an echo. Is that still going on? Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Is that me or
Who is that?
I think it was Jeff.
I was muted.
I'm gonna mute.
let me try. Okay, it's gone.
Are we good now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
All right. So the first episode, I mean, I knew what they were doing because they were doing it's totally like House of M. This is her reality that she's built. They can't do House of M. Well they could, but they don't have they never set up the mutants. So they totally are taking inspiration from that Vision comic where he lives with a family that he built and some disassembled Avengers. And so I knew there's going. I don't think the first 2 episodes were the best, but I got really into it because I knew where it was going to go, and it's sure enough, it's starting to pay off. Like, I get that the first 2 episodes weren't that great, but like, it was interesting to like wonder what's going on and like why is this happening?
Yeah, the mystery of it.
Yeah, the slow payoff. I've been enjoying the slow burn now. You just have to get to those first 2 episodes. The problem is that they've never really set up what she can really do, other than that time where she almost took down Thanos. But as far as her having the ability to alter reality or anyone's minds and stuff, like I don't think. Oh, I guess they did touch on that in Age of Ultron, right? But that was really it. And a lot of people, I feel like, probably forgot about that. She's kind of been an underused character for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both her and Vision are kind of underused.
Yeah.
Well, we're now in the era of Iron Man, spoiler alert, having died. So we have these other characters that can be as compelling, complex, and interesting, and now it's their time to shine. And up until that 4th episode, I was just like, come on, Wanda and Vision were so much more interesting. And then, when we learned more, it got cool. So before I jump the gun again, Garrett, have you been watching the show, and what did you think from the beginning?
Yes. So I'm kind of the same place that YellowFlash is. I knew that it was going to eventually go somewhere, and I was digging the style. I was kind of like, okay, this is cool. They're copying that style. They've got it. It's multicam sitcom, but then every so often there'd be a little ripple of mystery, going like, oh, what's going on? This person kind of broke out of character. Why are they asking questions? Why do they look frightened? What's going on? So, and then it kind of just that slow burn, like same way. It's just like I like it's finally something that can breathe. It doesn't. Not everything has to be explosions and running and everything's super fast. It's going, okay, wait, what's going on? There's a mystery here. We're trying to solve it. Is she in control? Is somebody controlling her? Is she in a prison kind of thing? But then she's clearly got some kind of powers. It's like, I'm loving the mystery of it all, trying to unravel and figure out what the big twist is going to be.
Oh, I know what the big twist is going to be.
See, that's why I don't.
They've
know,
already spoiled it.
All those.
They spoiled it with the toys. I don't know. Well, I mean, they had Mephisto in a Wanda 2-pack of these Funko ripoffs. So he's for sure coming, and it makes sense. The fact that the twins are there tells you Mephisto's coming, because in the comics, the twins have pieces of his soul. Ooh. And it would make sense if you look at it's a hexagram, right? A hexagon. If the whole town is so, knowing that Agnes is a witch from she's in the comics, she was a survivor from the Salem witch trials, so she's probably behind that a little bit. And the twins have his soul, and then they're going to be killed to bring back Mephisto, probably something around in that order, because that's what happens in the comics. And then she goes insane and breaks down, and that's why she's going to be the villain in Doctor Strange too.
So you think that they're setting her up to be the villain in the next one?
Yeah. Those twins are going to die. I guarantee it.
Oh, those kids will definitely go. I think that'll be the catalyst for one of her bigger breaks. Mm-hmm. But I got to give Marvel credit for as boring as they have been with a lot of shit. Now we get to see one of the heroes turn into a villain, which is fun because there's so many comics where The guy, good guy's bad guy, blah blah blah. But we don't really see it in the movie stick around because if you have, let's see, even Spider-Man 3, where he flirts with being evil in quotation marks, by the end of the movie, or by the 75% mark, he's back to being good, and he was going to revert to good moving forward. We're in a situation with Marvel having built out this universe. We can now have the good guy become a bad guy long term. How many heroes do we have fall to become villains, and then that's who the heroes fight? Well, now we get to see the process. We got to watch her start and fall, and I think that's cool. I don't know how many other characters you could do that with and actually make them a threat, because they told us she's now the most powerful Avenger, and she could take on Thanos herself or whatever. So we're setting up, instead of bringing in the Watcher, well, the Watcher's not a villain, excuse me, instead of bringing in like Kang or whatever they're rumored to be bringing in, it's like, yeah, well, here we go. One of our villains is now one of our heroes. And that's cool, because that's going to bring in that whole how can we fight her dilemma.
I think, well, she'll come back to being a hero at the end of Doctor Strange's movie. I think she's done this shit before. The House of M, and she's the whole reason that the universe got flipped in that. And then remember, did you read Avengers Disassembled?
Yes, but
she kills Hawkeye in it.
Do you think they'll? Okay, so they don't follow everything 1-to-1. Like even if we use Civil War as a reference point, I mean, there's so much of that story left on the page, which is cool.
That's one of my big pet peeves, because I'm not a big Marvel guy, so I didn't read a bunch of these story arcs. But that was the one story arc that I did read. It was like that, and then Old Man Logan. And then I watched the Civil War movie, and I was like, this is like nothing like the actual Civil War. It's like vague connections with it. That's what kind of made me mad about that movie.
Oh, look at that Quicksilver.
Oh,
that's actually not Quicksilver.
It's not?
That's one of the twins.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah,
well, one of the twins
on the
has
top
the speed.
Yep.
So, yeah, that would make sense.
And then the other
There's
one's
the
the other
witch.
twin. Yep. And then that's Agatha, and then Mephisto, yeah.
There's that spoiler. Oh, Marvel ruining things. What's going to be really cool is if the rumor that Magneto is going to show up in this.
That's
now
what I'm excited
I
for.
think that's the big Luke Skywalker cameo, to be honest.
So are we thinking Ian McKellen?
I think so.
It'll be the younger one.
I
Michael
don't know
Fassbender?
about that. Because
Ian McKellen makes more sense, like
I was gonna
age-wise,
say,
like
yeah.
But Michael Fassbender's got the longevity, and they need longevity in these big connected universe movies. Like,
would he really
Ian
be
McKellen's
that
old.
big?
I love Ian McKellen, but he's old.
I was gonna say, yeah, because Ian McKellen is more of a draw, like, I mean, a bigger name. Like, if you're saying we got a Luke Skywalker level cameo, I'm
that
thinking
would just be
Ian
that's
McKellen.
Magneto in general, though. I think
Yeah, that's
either
what I'm thinking,
one.
like,
I would.
Yeah.
The younger one would make more sense because you could use him in the MCU for a long time.
and the
Well, I'm not
implications
saying
of
they won't.
Magneto is in here, so that means mutants are in here, which means X-Men are in here. Where's
Right.
Professor X? Where's Wolverine? Where are all of our favorite people? Like that's going to be bigger than just a single character like Luke Skywalker.
Well, and don't get me wrong, but I think there's a caveat to the whole, like, she can bring people back to life because, one of her kids said that. And I think she can, but she can only bring people from other dimensions as long as they're still alive in another multiverse.
Oh.
So, like, that's why she brought back this version of Quicksilver. And then I think she'll bring back the older Magneto because she'll want to complete this family kind of dynamic. That's why I think they'll go with the older version. I could be wrong. I mean, that doesn't mean they won't bring back Fassbender's Magneto later on down
I think
the road.
you'd have to be a moron to not,
because they're
take
technically
Michael-
supposed to be the same
like-
one. Yeah.
right, to not take Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy's Professor X and Magneto. Like, you'd be a moron to not take those guys, those great actors, and then continue them on in the MCU.
Well, I said this in our last review. I was like, at this point, it's a no-win scenario for anybody who tries to come in to play Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel sorry for anybody who has to do that because you're coming after the person who's played a comic book character longer than anybody else
That
in
would
the
be
history.
like trying to make a Han Solo movie.
Oh,
Casting somebody to play Han
that would be a
Solo.
horrible idea.
That would
Juice
never
hope
be
they-
able to do that.
Oh,
It would be a
What a
disaster.
terrible idea.
I'm just spitballing here, but I bet they like shoot like 90% of it, and then they'd have to go back and reshoot it because the actor wasn't good enough. I'm just making stuff up though. Who knows?
Now, I feel super late to the party because when I read the article about the Luke Skywalker crossover or level crossover, I thought it was this past week's because it's like, all right, now it's officially a multiverse, blah,
It
blah,
could
blah.
have been, but I don't think so.
It leaked out, though, and she's like talking about she was surprised it hasn't leaked. It's got to be Magneto, and there's already now rumors coming out. Like I was reading an article about that earlier the other day. It's talking about Magneto is going to be the one that shows up. The only one they weren't clear about which one. So I really think it's going to be the younger one. I don't think it's going to be Ian McKellen because it's just, I mean, everything going on, it'd be hard to insure him, right? And it just makes more sense because if you want to bring bring a Magneto into the MCU, this would do a lot of things. It would solve the fact that there's no way in hell anybody could be in a concentration camp in modern Marvel. Well, so like this would solve that problem.
Yeah.
Well, one thing though, wasn't all this filmed before the pandemic shut down?
I think so. I don't know.
Some of it was, but
yeah. I think it was because the one because even Falcon and Winter Soldier was too finished, but they had to go back and reshoot some things, but they had to wait. That was what I remember offhand.
Yeah, I think what I heard, Fassbender, just because of the longevity. Like they've got to pull more movies out of this guy than just a couple cameo movies. They're going to go, okay, we need Michael Fassbender, we need James McAvoy because they're young and they can make 10 X-Men movies and be in a bunch of crossover stuff. Like you can't do that with Ian McKellen. So even if they may bring, because they are supposed to be the same person, right? So maybe you bring Ian McKellen in first and then you do some kind of weird time universe swap thing. And then, the sky's the limit because there's all kinds of universes and all this stuff. And every single movie so far almost seems like it's going to have some universe crap. It's like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. It's all over the place now.
Do you think it's going to be too much though? I'm worried.
No,
I'm afraid they're going to mess it up because that's a lot of strings to be pulling.
I'm not too worried. You got Raimi involved. You've got some other people. I think what this is what we're seeing is because like when they were talking like Captain Marvel's going to be this, that, and the other, like all that was before they had the Spider-Man deal and they had the X-Men and they had Fantastic Four and all that shit.
Yeah,
I think a lot of plans.
Captain Marvel 2 is going to make $1 billion because they're saying she's going to be gay now. Yeah, and that's automatically going to make her. I mean, if you can't question the character, or else you're homophobic.
And if you don't buy a ticket, you're homophobic.
Yeah, so you hate gay people. I guess. Yeah,
I'm starting to wonder if we're really going to see that much more of Brie Larson anyway. And hear me out here because
God, I hope not.
Monica Rambeau.
Well, yeah. First of all, you got Monica Rambeau already introduced. You've got Ms. Marvel coming in. Plus, they started her off at $5 million in the first movie. Nobody else started off that high. Like in every movie they do after that, they get paid a hell of a lot more bank. Like for instance, Paul Rudd got $8 million for Endgame, but he started out pretty, fairly low level. Like, and the same thing goes for Chris Evans and all those guys. They all
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, all of them started out real low level. They are not going to be wanting to give her $25-30 million for a couple more because that's the thing is every time she does another one, it's going to go up and up and up and up and up. Well, okay, I think they're going to pass the torch in this next one. I could be wrong, but I think they will.
She's supposed to be appearing and passing the torch sort of thing or having a cameo from what I'm hearing in the Ms. Marvel series. So is that going to count as one of her her contractual?
Maybe. I don't know how many appearances she has. That's a good question.
I don't think she's going to show up in Ms. Marvel.
You don't think so?
No.
She could. I mean, at the very least, it'll be something like that. Her posters on the wall all over.
If it happens that they're filming Captain Marvel 2 at the time Ms. Marvel's filming, then there's a good possibility that could happen. YellowFlash. Because they snuck in a few people into like S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff here and there, even though that's now null and void. But like you had like Lady Seraph or whatever her name is from Thor, and Samuel Jackson showed up a few times and shit like that.
I just don't think you need to with Ms. Marvel. That's going to be a teen show.
Well, that's going to be a bust anyway. Nobody's going to fucking watch it.
Well, it's going to be a teen show. It's going to be a bust. But here's a way to kind of get rid of her really quickly. Just put her in a couple of little TV shows, and then be done with her, and then they can recast her and moving forward, Captain Marvel is now Monica Rambeau. Because what were they setting up?
Yeah.
There was some snide little line. I guess I missed it. Somebody was saying there was something happened. There was some sort of a little some sort of a look that Monica Rambeau gave the guy when he said, "Oh, Captain Marvel's the strongest."
Yeah, somebody was bringing up the fact that Scarlet Witch could beat Thanos, and then Jimmy Woo or whatever was like, "Well, Captain Marvel was actually there," and then she gave that look, some kind of sly look, like she was mad at her or something.
It's because her stepmom, Brie Larson, left.
Yeah,
She was mad. She got ditched. Like her mom was in love with her.
She got that pack of cigarettes and never came back.
Meanwhile, Maria Rambeau's laying there dying in a hospital after her daughter got snapped out of existence.
Yeah, dies alone, no less.
Well, I'll give this show credit because, like I said, I wasn't in love with it at the beginning. But ever since we saw that post-snap world and how things started to come together, personally, I was very happy because I felt like that was a shortcoming of Endgame. Now, WandaVision makes Age of Ultron way more important than it's ever been. But it also, for me, this is just me because I was one of the people that I saw Endgame on opening night, like everyone else, reviewed it, liked it, don't love it, never really wanted to watch it again. Now I'm more interested in it. I got to give Marvel credit. They're finding a way to make these new shows add value to their old movies to the point where ones that I'll write off as I'll never need to watch it again, I want to sit down and look at Age of Ultron one of these days and go, oh, this is what they're tying to, or this, or how did I miss that type of thing? It adds that extra layer of fun.
That's a great point because I never liked Age of Ultron. I did not like that Avengers movie.
I didn't hate it, but
kind of have that feeling like maybe I'll go back and see like kind of the origins of how they introduced her and where she is now.
I just wonder, do you think they'll retcon her to be a mutant?
I don't know.
I mean, they never really mentioned what she was to begin with.
Well, they say the Mind Stone
gave her power, but that's all they say. They don't.
Well,
they could kind of.
Could they say that activated her X gene?
Exactly. I was just going to say that could be it.
Yeah.
Well, the old explanation was this was the age of Marvels. Remember, that was how they even would tell us in the media. We can't use mutants, but it's the equivalent of that's what the Marvels. That was their thing. That's what even what's his face? Not Baron Zemo. Strucker. That's what he calls him at the end of Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but now they can, so it don't matter.
Oh, what I'm saying, like now, I'm okay if they do. Well,
I would rather her be a mutant.
I would rather her be a mutant too. I would rather them almost make the mutants part of another universe, and then she kind of snaps them together instead of trying
those.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Before, I would have been like, "You're crazy. That's not what they're going to do." But after this last episode, I don't know, Jeff. You might be right.
Yeah.
Well, dude. I personally, and I think a lot of people feel the same way, I can't sit through another fucking origin story of any goddamn superhero. I don't need to see how Batman becomes Batman, Superman becomes Superman, the X-Men become the X-Men, because we just spent 10 years going through the First Class saga. I mean, what? Dark Phoenix is 2019. That movie was a dumpster fire, if you will.
The point is, have to, though.
Are they, though? Because look at the X-Men cartoon and look at all those things that we grew up with where they just kind of drop you in the world with a POV character.
Well, they could bring in Fassbender. They don't have to. They just go, look, he's Magneto. You know he's Magneto. He could even be a Magneto in a separate universe other than the First Class universe.
They could slowly introduce mutants. And here we are, then boom, here's X-Men.
Well, I think the snap, they'll probably use like people that came back from the snap may have awakened the mutant gene. But then again,
with WandaVision, she can make you just no more mutants, which is House of M. She can reverse that and say, okay, well, here's more protection or something. I don't know. But you could easily reverse no more mutants and have her create a bunch of
mutants. That's possible. Yeah. And that goes along with some of the stuff they like to do. They like to twist and shake things up a little bit.
Your expectations.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened in House of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, there was only about 70 or 100 mutants after House of M because she wiped them all out.
Well, I think for them to do the House of M stuff would be a little premature if that's their whole basis.
I'm just saying it would be an easy way to create mutants in the MCU is just to say, I don't know what she would say, but she could create the mutant race at the last episode.
Oh yeah, I wasn't disputing that. All I was saying is some of the best parts of House of M for me were to see the heroes with alternate realities. That's what we're going to lose. That's why when I brought up Civil War earlier, some of the things that were lost on screen we're like, okay, yes, in the film, we do have Tony Stark and Peter Parker have this little relationship, but the depth is cut out from the book. Yes, I understand you couldn't do it exactly. Or fine, the Punisher and what he means, and the Captain America, their dynamic and stuff like that. Like all of these great moments that were in there, or why I prefer the reasoning in the comic as opposed to the Sokovia Accords, which that moment in this week's WandaVision was wonderful when they talk about how you get this bad stain out, Lagos. Like that was the best commercial in my opinion, because it wasn't. The thing is, the first episode and the first commercial felt like a callback to, not that I Love Lucy, which is what I know they were going for, but like straight up
Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke, excuse me, but like phase 1 MCU, where, you know, it's like, oh, we're going to watch Howard Stark's old footage and this and that. Like those things those commercial callbacks felt like a callback to something not connected to WandaVision. It was a callback for the audience to go, hey, Marvel, Iron Man, blah, blah, blah. This callback this week in that commercial to me was the best one, because it was straight up a moment of her past. We start to learn what is happening. Her psyche's breaking. All of these things are starting to really snowball into something really entertaining. And I'm enjoying it, but I'm also sad that we're not going to get, like, you know, in the House of M story where Spider-Man was, instead of having Gwen die, Gwen was his real life wife, and Spider-Man is a thing he plays on TV, or how they do it with, what's his face? The other House of M one that I'm pretty well versed in, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Like they just do these great alternate realities that we're going to miss out on, sadly, because some of those characters just weren't established enough in the MCU to give them alternate realities that people would care about.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I almost wish they would just, now that they have Fox, go back and reboot the entire MCU, to be honest.
Yeah,
I would be
they've
behind
painted
that
themselves
more
in a
so
corner,
than you
and
think.
like they've
Say that
painted
again,
themselves in
sorry,
a corner
Garrett.
with this, and they have to get out of it. They have to go, okay, well, we've had 10 years of world building, and now we have to drop mutants into that, and you can't tell the same story that you did in the comics because mutants have been there the whole time. So now you have to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? You're going to do like another universe that had mutants there for decades? Are we going to drop mutants in now because of the snap? You know, it's a tough spot that they're in.
Well, I think it's funny you mentioned especially the latter part, because like I posited a bit of a theory to like Andre and the crew the other morning on the show, and nobody could really argue it or feel like it was wrong, because if you guys remember, the whole original Spider-Man deal was for two movies and an MCU appearance, right? And then they extended it out for Infinity War and Endgame, and then it was done. And then Sony sat back and didn't talk to him for months on Spider-Man 3. And then all of a sudden they got back and negotiations were fine. And this all happened around the same time as the Fox deal, right? So like the whole idea that they have MJ and they have all these characters, Flash Thompson and stuff, but they're like 25% different. Like we covered why that is. And that was because with the Sony deal, Sony wanted to protect the original versions of the characters in case they, you know, wanted to go off and do their own thing after this. They didn't want to have, you know, any confusion. So they had to use alternate versions of the characters. That's why they're so different. But now they went and extended that deal. And I think that deal's gotten extended way beyond anything we can comprehend, because now Marvel's a part of everything they're doing over there. And because I think Rothman's just like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with it. And between that and everything else, I think you guys are right. I think they're like, now everything can be a part of this universe. And they're going to retroactively make just about everything that's ever been a part of the Marvel Universe part of the Marvel Universe now.
That's already happened with Evan Peters showing
That's
up.
what I'm saying. Like it's, I think that's what we're going to see happen with the multiverse into the
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of cameos.
All this shit. And I think you guys are right. I don't think they're even going to bother wasting the fucking time with trying to reboot the X-Men. I think they're going to bring in, you know, the first class X-Men with, you know, they're going to take a truckload of money up to Hugh Jackman's house and say, here you go. Because I brought it up and people are like, oh yeah, but he said he's never going to do it again. I'm like, yeah, but
I'd rather them recast.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep him around for another few years, I bet. It's just
it's too old now.
Well, it's
He's
easier.
like
Is he really?
55.
Yeah, but look at him, dude. You wish you're gonna look that good when you're 50-5.
Yeah,
Like,
but the
now.
age it's a rapid change from 55 to 65.
Yeah, well, regardless, like I look at it this way,
Again,
they're
it's
gonna
like
pay
the
him.
longevity thing is like you're not going to be able to pull 10 years of Wolverine out of Hugh Jackman. You have
They
to
don't
start
really
younger.
need to, though. That's the whole thing. Is you won't need to. They'll just pull him in because they'll have him in Deadpool 3 and a few other things, and he'll show up as a special, thing. But otherwise, they'll just. I could be wrong, but
that sucks.
I don't know. I don't think so because people like you guys keep saying this, but look at him. Go look at pictures of him. He ain't gaining no weight yet.
No.
He still looks better than any of us do on this panel. So
I love Hugh Jackman, and I love Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but I want to continue seeing Wolverine stories. I don't want it to be like predicated on can Hugh Jackman be Wolverine? That's the only time we get Wolverine. I want him to recast it, move on. I love Hugh Jackman, but let's move on. Let's go. Let's go in another direction.
You know what the other direction is going to be for Disney, though?
Money.
No, they'll probably get X-23 instead.
Oh my God! Get out of here! Fuck you! Why would you say that?
Because I know Disney.
You can't do X-23 until you introduce Wolverine.
That's how they'll do it with this.
Yeah,
they already introduced her ass.
They're going to use that little girl from
So I'm just saying, they already introduced her.
I'm with you, Garrett, like 10,000% if that was actually a thing with the Wolverine stories, because I too want Wolverine stories forever. I want to see him go to Madripoor, excuse me. I want to see him interact with Joe Fixit. I want to see Wolverine go undercover. I want to see Wolverine meet Yuriko. I want to see all these wonderful
see him
Wolverine
fight
stories.
the Hulk. That's what I want, man, dude.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's
Imagine
how you
just
bring
dropping
him
in.
Oh yeah,
You could do a good movie with that.
I know this sounds weird because I know Disney's got all this money, but if there's one actor that's going to cost a little to keep around from the beginning of the MCU, I know it sounds weird, but I do think Mark Ruffalo adds a lot of value because the Hulk has such a rich history with Wolverine just alone, but you can do so much with the character of the Hulk. And like we saw in Thor Ragnarok, if they're not going to invest in his own film, he's a great supporting character. And there's more than just that one story that they can pull from. I mean, World War Hulk is cool, but Joe Fixit, that was just a classic thing. And if they take the time to build from this to that, that's how I think Marvel stays in, not stays in business, but I think that's how they keep the MCU so fresh that we're just ready to go constantly. This long-term investment's important, but just knowing that our favorite characters are going to be cool, not we're going to go home, unsatisfied.
Yeah.
Are they going to regenerate Hulk's arm though?
I mean, the Hulk, doesn't he technically have like some low-key regeneration powers?
But I wonder if they've established that in the MCU because it seems like they want to sideline him, push She-Hulk. Like, I wonder what the She-Hulk, like, is she going to look like she looks like now in the Marvel comics? Or is she going to
bring that up?
Is she going to look like the old She-Hulk that everyone loved? Like, they're probably going to they're going to Bruce Banner her and replace him, I bet. Watch.
I don't want that. Please don't.
Nobody wants that.
Well, what I find is there's these classic hallmarks that even Marvel tends to not be able to. Well, no, I take that back. They'll shit on it because there's like 4 iterations of She-Hulk, and I guess personally I want the John Byrne one, like that weird meta self-referential I break the fourth wall funny She-Hulk. I don't want.
That'd be too much like Deadpool.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be to those extreme. Well, I guess it's right. But that sucks, though, because Deadpool doesn't really create breaking the fourth wall, and I really don't like that he gets to corner the market. But, I mean, that's a fair point. I'll concede to that point. But the law stuff, that's just not going to keep anybody hooked.
I'm going to be the contrarian here and say I hate fucking stupid female versions of characters we already have. End of discussion for me.
Well, they've got that woke-ass writer. You think she's going to want to write a story about a woman who finds sexiness in herself by becoming the Hulk?
I just have zero respect for this whole idea of, we got Superman, let's make Supergirl. We got Hulk, let's make She-Hulk. We got Batman, let's make Batgirl.
Those characters have been around for a long time.
I get it, and I get people like them, but
She-Hulk's been around for decades.
I get
so
it.
Has Supergirl.
This goes all the way back to like Speedy and anything that's basically just a complete ripoff of whatever their original, counterpart is.
Well, She-Hulk she's totally different. Well,
I get people
totally
say that.
Different.
I don't think She-Hulk's a chick version of Hulk.
Completely different.
And why did they just make her a completely different girl? Why is it got to be She-Hulk? Why can't it be something else? That's my point. Is like the instance I see something she in front of it or girl after it, to me it's like I already got one. I don't need another one.
Well, didn't Ethan say
that's
something
been me all along? It's nothing personal. It's just
Well, didn't Ethan say something along the lines of it's to do with copyright? A lot of times they'll make characters like this to hold on to copyright and stuff.
Sometimes,
That's what he said about DC before. I've heard him like on the High Council say that when I'm present.
I mean, that makes sense. But I agree with in large point though. I agree with what Tom's saying because you already got it, you know. And if it was done well, why do you think just doing it another version of it, just swapping a gender, is going to make it better or new in any way? And then it also does a disservice to women because oh wow, you can't think of an original female character. You just have to gender swap one you already created. I mean, come on.
Like when a gender swap though, she's completely different.
No, and I get what you're saying.
Different than the Hulk though. Like she loved being Bruce Banner hates being the Hulk. She loves being the Hulk.
But my point is, then why not make her a completely different character that's not a Hulk?
She is. Well, there's tons of Hulks. I mean, you had what's it? It's losing.
Thunderbolt Ross was the Red Hulk.
Well, no,
Red
not
Hulk.
even
Yeah,
him.
I know that too. But yeah,
There's
Gray
a really good thread on Twitter that I saw yesterday where they're basically explaining how in like if they do make this woke, they're going to actually lose all of their transgendered allegories for, you know, she through being the Hulk, she finds a way to be comfortable in her own skin. And through the transformation, it gives her the confidence. So I don't know how woke they're actually going to make the She-Hulk show, because Dana Schwartz, the girl who's writing this, is kind of an enigma. I mean, if you've seen her, she did all of her little boudoir pictures and poses. And
Rick Jones. Sorry, somebody in the chat. Rick Jones became a Hulk too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was the name I was looking for. Is him. So I mean, there's been other Hulks. I mean, She-Hulk has been around for a long time.
I get that, and that's not my problem. It's
not like this is a character made from all different Marvel. She's been around since like the 70s or the 80s or however long she's been around. It's like
that's not even
like a Wonder Woman sort of character where she's like that iconic, where even like I was reading Archie's and I still knew who She-Hulk was. And like because of all of this controversy around here, like this is the one book series I want to kind of really, really dig deeper into before the show happens, because I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it. Like the actress they have playing her is incredible in Orphan Black, Tatiana Maslany, so or playing Jennifer Walters, I guess. And I want to see where they're going with this, and I don't want to write this one off as being just another woke trash heap. They might surprise us, but I don't know. I don't have that much faith. I'm hopeful, but
no, it's going to be a dog shit show.
Okay, I got to say this. I get what people are saying in the chat. I know it's not the same character. I get that, but that's my fucking problem. Then why call it She-Hulk in the first fucking place? Make it something completely
to sell
different.
Books, Tom.
Well, that's my problem with it.
To be fair,
there's a disservice from the start by calling it She-Hulk is my point.
Yeah, it doesn't really hurt it because of the age of it. It's not like this current modern day where everything is a new modern day gender swap version of this, or you know, it's. I think it's a little different. I think it gets a pass because it doesn't come out of this modern day Wokemon bullshit crap.
This was the thing that was happening in comics too at the time. You could think, well, just go to Batman, you Batgirl.
Yeah,
that's my point. It's like anything besides Robin.
But this isn't new. This has all been going on for a long time. I know,
and this has always been one of my gripes. Is even if they're vastly different from their original, then just do something different. Because like outside of Robin, they're all just basically ripoffs of their original or just cashing in on the original. And I get it, some of for copyright and what have you, but like my point is I'd be more interested in She-Hulk if it wasn't a Hulk. That's my point.
Well, she's also Bruce Banner's cousin, so they're related.
Yeah.
I think as long as it's written well, that's what really matters. Like I don't give a fuck. It could be Hulk 2, but if it's cool, you know, if it's written well, I don't care.
I would love to find out what the legality would be, even though I'd get in trouble, and just make comic books called Hulk 2, Spider-Man 2, Captain America 2.
Well, Marvel's been doing that for years with Spider-Man.
Good shit.
How many you could have a whole Avengers team with Spider-Man ripoffs. Marvel seems to think that just giving people spider powers is going to make the character interesting.
That is my number one complaint about Marvel Comics.
You want to talk about
spider people?
Yeah, you want to talk about shitty ripoffs, Tom? Spider-Man's got a.
That's one of my prime examples between the Bat Peoples and the Spider Peoples.
Oh my god, the Batman family is just
my god.
Well, the Batman family kind of works because that's Bruce Wayne creating a family, and it makes sense with him because it's like with him, it's like, okay, well, I can continue the fight against crime, and like Bruce Wayne, like Batman is Bruce Wayne, and he's creating kids and family for himself. I mean, with him, it kind of works to create an extended family. Spider-Man, that doesn't make any sense at all.
No,
all of a sudden, all these characters pop out all over the place, like Silk. Oh, the spider bit another person before it died. Like, no, stop it.
Yeah, like as a Spider-Man fan, Gwen Stacy died. The Spider-Gwen is bullshit. And this, to me, Spider-Man, Spider-Verse stuff, not the film Into the Spider-Verse, folks, the actual comic book line and all of these creations of characters, is just, it's such an indicator of a lack of originality, because you just take the same thing over and over. Like, I guess the originality, or really is just the novelty of seeing Spider-Man interact with himself 50 times. And yes, it's as redundant as it sounds. Yeah, there are moments of fun when he interacts with, Japanese Spider-Man, the Sentai one. But overall, it just creates this sameness. And I do like the Batman family, but I hate the Spider-Man thing. Like, I read the last 2 issues of Spider-Man because Mark Bagley came back to draw the book. He's one of my all-time favorites.
The last Remain stuff has been somewhat pretty good.
They
had
I was just about to give it a compliment.
The Harry Osborn stuff was really cool.
Well, you know what I really dug, man, was the part where Spider-Man told off Norman Osborn. It was like, you know what? I don't have time for your family. I got to take care of myself. I got good people to take care of. That was a weird validation moment where I went, if they're going to let Spider-Man have a moment like this, I think I'm going to keep reading the book. So I was picking that up. But the point I was getting to is this was such a really great classic style Spider-Man story. And yeah, I used the word great. I'm digging it. But then you have like Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales and like 12 other Spider people show up. We got to save Peter. Like, you could literally cut those pages out of the book and get a better story. Because whatever they have created to sell a couple of action figures, they've taken away what makes him Spider-Man. That
they've diluted him.
Yeah.
Like, I liked Miles better when he was in his own universe, because then he was Spider-Man, and I don't mind Miles, but he was better when he was by himself. Putting him over there, I think, cheapens him, because now he's like Spider-Man Jr., even though they share the same name, which is so stupid.
I was reading some clarification, Tom, in the chat about She-Hulk. We got the axe to the head who sends in a super chat that says, to answer Rob's question, Marvel had the Hulk show in the 70s, and then Bionic Woman happened. Looked at the contract and saw they had been locked out of any royalties if the studio made a She-Hulk show. So there we go. It's all about the money and the rights with She-Hulk.
And I'm Tom.
Yes.
I'm not She-Rob.
She-Rob.
Why is Spider-Man 2099 in that photo?
I have no clue. I
like Miguel, but Miguel is like in the future. He comes back once in a while, thing. But yeah.
To me, it's just, it's bringing back the same people redundantly. And I just Googled Spider-Man family because I know that's not the official name, but I don't know what the name of his team is. The Spider People? That's appropriate, but
what was it?
King of the
Spider-Verse. They gave him a name. I can't remember what they called them. Not in the movie, but in the comic, they had
posse of spiders.
They had a name together.
Spider-Man.
People talk about Ben Reilly in the chat. That's totally different.
Yeah,
that was before there was 35 Spider-Mans running around. And I liked Ben Reilly. I liked the Clone Wars.
Yeah, but they didn't even have a Spider-Man yet.
Spider-Man. Did you just say you liked the Clone Saga?
I was a kid, I thought it was fun when I was a kid. It's not the greatest shit, but I love that Scarlet Spider costume. See, and he was Spider-Man for like 6 years.
No, not 6 years.
He was Spider-Man for a long time.
Man.
Peter Parker? It was at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years for sure, because he dies in like 97. Remember the Green Goblin glider hits him in the back?
The Green Goblin comes back, but he was around for a long time. Because you could take in with the Clone War the Clone War years, and then his years as Spider-Man. That's a long time. You and I are probably roughly the same age. I'm 32, so I'm growing up with him as Spider-Man as well. But I was watching the cartoon, playing video games of Spider-Man, and the fact that Spider-Man looked different
in that version, I was like, I don't really care about this version. But going back, I like his story. I don't like the Clone Saga, but I love the whole, you clone Spider-Man, what do you do with this excess body? He built his own life. I think he's a really compelling character. And if you built a Spider-Man universe, not a Spider-Verse, but a world where you could do like 15 movies, you could eventually get to that. And I think that'd be a really cool concept of like a villain who replicates the hero, but then that replicant has to have its own life. And then you could have that weird Blade Runner thing that I seem to not like. What makes a human? And that's a whole nother layer to comic book movies we've never seen yet. So there's positivity out of terrible storylines, folks.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't the best. It's not winning any awards for sure, but I love Ben Reilly. I love that costume, and I don't know.
See, again, why I'm soft on that one, too, is because you know the whole story. It's not like it's the let's open up the alternate dimensions and crap.
Yeah.
I can even buy into the Kane storyline a little bit. I don't like all the different clones, but those are easier to deal with because they feel like they were better written. Even though they're dumb, they were better written because they used to try. Garrett, do you remember that storyline at all, the Clone Saga, where Spider-Man had all these different versions of himself running around?
Only a little bit. I think I watched a video on it. I never read it. But yeah, I remember it was very confusing. I remember the toys. I remember the toys very specifically.
It got confusing because they ran into the ground. So it was only supposed to last like a year, and they fucking dragged it out so much.
My main memory of it is probably the alt skins you can get in the Spider-Man games. It's like, who is this? Where does this come from? And then I just like Google it and look it up.
Oh, I played most of the game with that Scarlet Spider costume. The new one?
The 2018 game? Oh, that was a great game. And that's a good-looking suit.
I just love that suit. I think that's probably one of my favorite costumes next to the black suit. I even liked Ben Reilly's version of the Spider-Man costume when it had the big spider wrapping around his body.
I like that one more than the one with the sweatshirt myself.
Yeah, I just love that hoodie. I think that's such a cool design to me. I don't know. That screams 90s comics too.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
I love that suit.
Thing.
Yeah.
Because this is a product of its era, and you remind yourself that this was the coolest thing. Like, they tapped into what was cool for the time.
Yeah.
I really wish Marvel could do that again. Even if it's not for me, I do want them to be able to tap into what's cool. They're not anymore, and I'm not that out of touch. So
I just like the original, I guess. Maybe it's just me.
What, Spider-Man?
Yeah, or basically what they had in the 80s up through.
Oh, dude, I'm original Spider-Man only. Oddly specific. I mean, shit, I can go into certain time periods.
I mean, the black one's okay, but
black costume's amazing.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a purist in that sense. I don't know.
Hey, I dig it. Believe me, you're preaching to the choir in terms of Spider-Man talk. So let's hear what the audience is saying in terms of talk. And then we're going to talk about some Snyderverse shit. Pictures of Jared Leto as the Joker popped up. And I want to know what you guys are thinking, because
how do I know if he's damaged or not?
I know, right?
Yeah. There's no label. I'll never know.
How will I know?
Wait. So does that mean those tattoos were fake?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, are they gumball machine temporary tattoos? They wash off?
Now that would be Joker, like a Jokerish thing to do. Put fucking fake tattoos all over him.
But it's kind of lame.
It's very lame.
Yeah, well, nobody said Suicide Squad was a masterpiece.
He could have been wearing makeup too.
Yeah.
You got.
I hated that Joker's tattoo. It was so dumb to have Joker absorb culture. Like, what were you thinking with that?
That is
tattoos and give him a grill.
The grill.
Yellow.
Oh my god,
dude, that's the flip of what I would say about Ben Reilly. They tried to get with the times, in quotations, tried, and that's how you got Joker with face tats in a grill. So,
yeah,
it wasn't pretty.
They just fundamentally didn't understand the Joker, period, as far as I'm concerned. But
oh no. Now, our friend Girthy Guitarist SD says, did you see France said the U.S. woke leftism is a danger?
Yes.
I did not.
I thought that was great.
Could you
it's coming from France.
Like, France, the country, the entire country is like, yo, we don't like that woke stuff.
Yeah, don't they have people like refugees wiping their ass in fountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're like, we're doing it. It's not working out.
Well, there you go. I didn't hear that one, so thanks. I don't even know what's going on in the world outside the Super Bowl being bullshit. But so we also, after that, we had our friend El Punk Trace, thank you very much, who gave us a super chat sticker of a devil with a smiley face. Thank you very much, El Punk Trace. Dash Attack says, does the Lizard Jedi do anything cool? That's from the High Republic.
Yeah,
go,
he is the
which
coolest.
one?
He is the coolest one, or she, I should say. You just assumed her gender. She is the coolest one-armed lesbian this side of the fucking cantina because she's got a tongue that won't quit.
Ooh.
Did you just assume that lizard guy's gender?
No, they did. I know.
Man,
I've looked
that
at her
gets so
Twitter bio.
confusing. I've been reading all of the Future State comics, and they introduced the they them Flash in the Justice League issue.
Seriously?
And I got so confused. I'm like, they have been a great benefit to the Speed Force or something. Like, are they talking about?
Why didn't they just
Was it
say
two
the
of
name?
them?
A group of people?
I fucking hate that.
Are you talking about the Green Lantern chick too? I was like, oh, that's right. This person is non-binary or
Couldn't they do
whatever.
like a tilde or something? Give me a little reference on if it's not like they as in a group or they as in a person. Like, what is this?
That's what I'm
Why
saying.
don't they just
My
pick
house.
an official? Why don't they
Give me
just
some
pick an
wavy
official
text.
pronoun like
Right?
they, them, or something like zay or whatever?
I've
It's
got
like,
one.
oh, we gotta have they, them.
Zip
I
zap.
just,
Pronouns are F and you.
you're
I was
not two
gonna say,
people.
I've got one for him. It's called "fuck off" because honestly, like, yeah, it makes no sense because if you're talking to somebody, you're just gonna fucking talk to them and either use their name. You're not gonna use anybody's pronouns to them, right?
Yeah, if I ever
Yeah.
meet somebody that tells me my pronouns are they, them, I will never see that. I will never speak to that. Imagine it being a
I'm not
hire,
doing
like
that.
you're hiring somebody for a job. My pronouns are they, them. Oh, okay. And then you're like slowly shredding the application. Definitely don't want this
Oh, we'll
lawsuit
give you a
walking around
call.
the office.
No.
We'll give you a
Well, and people who I did the review for the Star Trek Discovery episode where they're like they make a point to stop what they're doing and say they them 9 times in a row. So of course I had to use my favorite Ferris Bueller's Day Off clip with the 9 times joke because they made it such a joke and it stuck out like a sore thumb. It was confusing, and the people in my comment section who don't speak English natively were saying this is really, really confusing. I thought this was supposed to be more than one person. And I'm like, yes, they and them, when you say that, it's a group of people usually, and they're just appropriating the terminology because they want to make up a I don't want to choose gender.
They want to tell you what you can say. That's the whole Jordan Peterson thing about it.
Well,
It's
not
like,
only that,
do
normally
it if
when
you want to. That's fine. You can make
Well,
make your changes.
it
And
is a
live your life how
singular-
you want. You're trying to make me you're forcing me to change the way I live my life.
It is a singular like form of word though too, because in most cases, generally when you talk about somebody, you say their name first, and then you'll say they or them afterwards, right? Very rarely do you actually use somebody's pronouns, right?
Right.
Like if you really stop and think about the way you talk, so that means somebody has to really be paying attention to how you're talking, and it's like
I can't remember somebody's name.
why are
let
you
alone
paying that
their
much attention?
pronoun.
exactly like, and you're paying attention to such like fucking nuanced shit that you're like,
And you're assuming I give a crap about you.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I
Right?
don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a
I
fuck about
wanna
any
be
other
so-
random person that I come up. Like you're just assuming that I respect you. I don't.
well, here's the thing. Do they want us to, here's the way we can
You
fix
got
this.
to earn that shit.
Just start referring to everybody as, look, non-sexless person that I probably won't fuck. Then just continue and you should be fine. I think you've covered your bases at that point, because then there's no reason for you to refer to them as anything other than their fucking name, right?
Yeah.
I love that this is a conversation we have in 2021. The English language is broken.
I never
Right.
thought I'd have this fucking conversation in 2021, Jeff.
Well, at least they don't call it sexist like they do the Spanish language.
Oh God, I had that conversation earlier. That was
I love that Latinos hate fucking Latinx.
Isn't it the best?
Yeah, they despise it. The only people that use it are woke white people.
I'm like, what is this shit?
Hold on, Mr. Spanish person. You need to be Latinx.
That just reminds me of like an old.
Like, fuck off, Punto.
It's like an old person using a really, really outdated term that's now offensive. That's what it just feels like.
I've basically created a George Carlin bit for this since he's no longer with us. Hail St. George. Basically, he goes, the world was set up on languages. Languages everywhere, right? We have several languages. And one day we said, look, we have a word. It's a word. What should that word mean? We decided what that word means. Everybody decided that's what that word means. But then all of a sudden it came along some people. These people were woke. They had awoken. Awoken from what? We don't know, but we wish they'd go back to sleep. Then they came in and decided, I don't like this definition. I'm going to change this definition, disregarding what other people thought. So you have millions of other people going, well, I thought that word meant this. Well, I thought that word meant that, when it really means this. Thank you, woke person. Now go back to sleep. He hated changing definition. He would hate that. He would fucking despise it.
It's so sad that he's not around. Like, we need him so badly.
I know that's not nearly as good as what he would do, but I have a feeling that's what he would come up with. Something like that.
I know what he would say. He would say, why do I want to know what your fucking pronoun is when I don't want to fuck you in the first place? Now fuck off.
Well, that would be his first thing is like, who cares what these people pronouns are? Most people wouldn't want to fuck them in the first place. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
I love one of his famous jokes are, you know how you get a feminist on your side? Ask for a blowjob. Which one of you honeys wants to come home here with me tonight and give me a blowjob, huh? He would do that. He would fucking come right out and do that. He would too.
I would call a feminist. How do you piss off a feminist? Call her a cum catcher.
Yeah, that was what.
I love George Carlin. There's a reason why I call him Saint Carlin.
We need more of that.
We hail at the altar of St. Carlin because what's even better is he didn't even believe in God. So he'd probably get that joke.
Right?
He'd love it. You're like, I like
He was
that.
originally Catholic, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. He was
You'd
raised
think that would be
very
hilarious.
hardcore Catholic. Yeah.
I always think of Cardinal Glick.
Yeah, that's why I love him in Dogma.
Oh, speaking of woke bullshit, did you guys see that they canceled Cracker Barrel today?
Yes,
Wait,
Becca was
what?
talking about
Over
that
what?
earlier.
Oh, because
Somebody made some bullshit definition of what Cracker Barrel means, and it's not even true. But that doesn't matter in kangaroo court. So it, of course, trended, and everyone was just making a fool of themselves of how they just believe bullshit. And it trended for like 6 or 7 hours. This is hilarious. But they were trying to say that Cracker Barrel was if you walked into an old country store, a Cracker Barrel was cheap whips to whip black people during slavery times. And they would call that's where cracker originated from, because they would call white people crackers because they cracked the whip.
Oh my God! We need to do that. We need to just
That
pick
is
a bunch
not
of different
even-
companies.
I know
and say
it's
it has
not true,
racist
Tom,
origins.
but it trended everywhere. Of course, this is why Cracker damn Cracker Barrel.
Makes
You know what this reminds me of, guys? This reminds me of the argument I got in with some dude over on Ray Fisher's fucking thing the other day. Because now Ray's even gotten to the point where I don't even think he's sure that Booyah is racist, right? Because he's gone to asking
Fucking
people.
Cyborg's been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, Kryborg is like fucking out there. Now he's asking people if we think it's racist or not. And I got into this long ass debate with this motherfucker, and I'm like, look, he's like, it's stereotypical and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, show me two or three examples. I'm like, give me 2 or 3 examples. I'm like, the best I can find, Booyah, you can trace it back to maybe surfer lingo. So like, really, it's no different than if he said cowabunga.
Tom, every time I hear the word booyah or the phrase, I think of Jay and Silent Bob, because that's what he
Exactly, yeah.
when he's getting the monkey. He's like Cheyenne, booyah, or whatever.
You want to know why I think this is? And I figured this out. It's because I can't remember the sportscaster's name, but there was a guy on ESPN who happened to be black.
Oh yeah,
and he's most associated with the term booyah. That's why they think it's fucking
boom
racist.
shakalaka.
You sound like a soundboard. I love
He's
it.
on fire.
Yeah, it's probably the same guy. Yeah.
Downtown.
Playing NBA Jam.
Like, you can't say that shit no more. What the fuck?
I love it. I miss the simpler time when you could actually have fun.
Oh, I see the gorilla glue lady.
Oh yeah, the gorilla.
She's gonna sue for being a moron.
Scott, that's the name of it. Stuart Scott was the guy who said "booyah" all the time. Yeah, that's why I think they think it's racist.
He died many years ago, right?
Yeah, it was never associated with any hip hop culture that I know of. It's just always been like one of those fucking things.
Ray Fisher's just an idiot.
Yes, Ray Fisher is just
Ray Fisher is a fucking theater diva.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like
he's from theater. I guarantee you he's a fucking diva. That's what they call people like him, dramatic fucking people that want the attention on them. Somebody was mean to him. Who did he say? He said Joss Whedon was mean to him. Jeff Johns said you might not want to be dumb or your career will get fucked up. And he's right. No one wants to work with him. And lo and behold, Cyborg looks like that movie got canceled. He's a fucking moron. Yeah. Grow some thicker skin. Nobody's racist. Nobody was racist to him. He's just throwing it out there because of the current times.
Oh, absolutely. He was an opportunity.
And I hate defending Joss Whedon because that dude is a piece of shit.
Oh,
but
no.
He's doing anything wrong in this instance. Welcome to the big time, Ray Fisher.
The whole Cyborg saga just reeks of like, you weren't a big enough part of the movie, so retroactively you're trying to make yourself a bigger part of the movie. And Cyborg has been an okay character. I liked the Teen Titans show back in the day, but I get what they're doing. I read the New 52. I know that Cyborg and the Mother Box and all this connection shit he has, what they were trying to build, it just didn't work for me, man. Like, we'll talk about Snyder Cut in just a second, but it was all
just not be in the Justice League, like straight up.
I agree.
Why would you pick Cyborg over Martian Manhunter?
You know the real reason. You didn't even finish the question.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, you can make Martian Manhunter a black man.
He should be.
I don't care.
He is when he's.
He should be.
Yeah, when he becomes a human, he is usually.
So Cyborg, you can go back to your Teen Titans group. You can let the big boys play. Like, we don't need you.
I'll do you one better. We should have a Green Lantern in the fucking Justice League.
Dude.
Yeah. It should
Why do we not have him in there?
Yeah, most people like Jon Stewart anyway because of the cartoon.
Yeah,
exactly my point.
He is badass, and why did you not pick him? I don't understand it.
Yeah, and anyway, this kid I was arguing about, like, I was just like, you're redefining this thing that never was, and I'm like, he was saying "booyah" before you were probably fucking born. And I'm like, you're just deciding now that it's racist. And I said, it doesn't even sound like Ray's so sure anymore.
Yeah, just recast him with the one from the Doom Patrol show. He's much better anyway. That show, if they could just tone down the woke stuff, that'd be such a great show.
No, you know what? I hate saying this because it's almost like Schadenfreude, but like, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck you. You fucked it up. Now, guess what? There is no Kryborg anymore. You just fucked up the one black character there was here. We're not going to have him now for a while. So until we find another one that works, guess what, Ray Fisher? You done fucking went and blew up this whole opportunity. You know, you fucked it all up. I hope you're saying "booyah" every time you hand out a bag at McDonald's now.
I just wish he would have
McDonald's "booyah."
I just wish he would
Mac "booyah."
He's gonna be mad when they put the Justice League tie-in toys.
Yeah,
and motherfucking right on the bag, "booyah."
Well, Cyborg is just like such a weak character. Like, if I was a kid going to McDonald's and I got the Cyborg toy with the the karate chop grip and all that stuff, I'd be disappointed, man. Like, he's not only a sour grapes actor, he's just a lame sour grapes actor with a lame character. Like, I get it, man. You're butthurt because you're not Superman or Batman. They're the cool characters, but
Well, he forgot that he's not fucking Ben Affleck. That's what he forgot.
Yeah.
Or Denzel
It's
Washington or some other actor who's not
It's the same symptom of all the woke, like, SJW type people. They step into an industry and they think that they should just be making astronomical money. It's like, no, like, you got to work your way up regardless of what race or sex or whatever the fuck. Like, you've got to work yourself up. Like, you don't just get everything handed to you. And that's what Ray Fisher, he thought he could just come in and go, oh, well, I'm playing with the big boys now. I'm with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, and now I should be getting all this money. Like, no, dude. You just came out of Broadway. Nobody knows you.
Well, I wish he understood that, because I think Marvel really set a precedent with superhero acting and pay and all this other stuff. Really, with the MCU, I mean, that's why Terrence Howard walked away, because the compensation stuff was, wonky in the beginning. So we have actors that, like, even I know this, that I'm not going to be in one of these movies, but like we said at the beginning of the show, they make whatever in the beginning and they make more and more as they go. Didn't Gal Gadot just get like a $10 million payday for Wonder Woman 84?
On the back end.
It was a shitty movie.
It was a shitty movie, guys. But that's the thing, is we know how the game is played. You come in as a superhero in the beginning, you're a nobody. Look at the Falcon. He comes in for, it'd be like if Anthony Mackie, you don't have to pick a black guy. Let me pick a different thing to make my same fucking point. That'd be like if you picked, I don't know, Sebastian Stan, who bitched, he got cut out of the first Captain America movie. And then he bitched forever and got taken off. All right, well, you cut yourself off from appearing in Winter Soldier. You cut yourself off from appearing in the biggest movie of all time, Avengers Endgame. And you would have cut yourself off from a TV show. You don't even have to worry about any race. This is just somebody who couldn't be fucking patient, because you are going to build. Look at the fucking Snyder cut. We never thought we'd see the Justice League from Zack Snyder ever again. God damn it, 4 years later and $70 million plus, we're getting another go at it.
And what does this shithead do?
Yeah. It
tries to make it all about him.
Yeah.
Yes. It's about playing the waiting game. Show solidarity with your other Justice League members. It's not even about, you're new to the team. You're just part of the team. And if Batman and Superman aren't bitching about this stuff, then I just don't get
great example. Look at that. What has Ben Affleck done? He ain't said shit. Motherfuckers let everybody say shit for him.
Mm-hmm.
He has stood back and been a boss and kept his mouth shut, been cool as a cucumber. He went and did his fucking time in the fucking rehab tank. And, this shit drove his ass to drinking. I don't hear him bitching. I don't hear him out there going, Jeff Johns and fucking Joss Whedon made my life a living fucking hell.
He knows the game. He's been in this game for a long time. He knows how to play.
Exactly. And you're right. You're 100% right, guys. And you know what? I hate saying it. I may even put a little bit of blame on Zack Snyder, and I don't mean it in like a nefarious way, but I mean it like this. Look, Zack was probably the type of director who was very receptive to his actors. And I'm sure he filled Ray Fisher's head full of all kinds of shit. Like he was getting his own movie at one point. He was going to be in Flashpoint, and he was going to be the centerpiece of the Justice League and all this shit, because he said a lot of this stuff out in public, remember? So, like, I'm sure that, Ray Fisher found him as a much more receptive, kinder, gentler, easier director to deal with, who made him feel like he was the biggest fucking star in the movie. But then when Joss Whedon came along, and Joss Whedon, like you said too, guys, I hate sticking up for the motherfucker. He's a piece of shit. But you know what? He had a job to do. He was brought in to do, and deadlines to hit. And he had one job to do, and he had this fucking kid who wouldn't come out and say one fucking line when they're costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and all this other bullshit. And he's crying racism, trying to destroy 3 men's lives, one of which had fuck all to do with fucking Justice League. Hamada wasn't even there yet. So I don't know what the fuck his deal is with him. And he ain't showed us one lick of proof yet. Not one. He has cried racism, and I haven't seen one bit. All he's shown us is these fucking people that said, yeah, we believe you believe what you're saying. That's it. That ain't fucking proof. I need some fucking proof. I've seen the proof with what's his face? I just forgot his name, damn it. Who played Finn?
John
Boyega. I've seen the proof with John Boyega. He didn't even have to fucking say it, because we've been saying it for him for years.
Yeah.
Well, I personally have always thought that, I know this sounds stupid to say, but like when you have one of these stinker members of a superhero team like the actor, it always kind of brings down the team for him, because no matter how fake these press tours are, like with the exception of Brie Larson, I believe the Avengers at least got along with each other, and it makes watching those movies a little cooler for me. It's like, at least the Avengers actually, whatever. With the Justice League hearing about all this shit, it just kind of makes me feel a little lesser about that movie. But at the end of the day, my statement on the Ray Fisher thing isn't even about Ray Fisher. It's about how poorly handled one of the biggest entertainment companies on the planet, how they fucking jumbled the mess of the Justice League. I mean, this is their second, maybe, I don't know, let's just call it their second attempt at the Justice League film. We'll say the George Miller one from 2008 was going to be their first real attempt. And they ruined that one, and they ruined it again. I don't know what the structure is. I don't know what the reasoning behind all of this stuff is. But those at Warner Brothers really set the stage poorly for everything. And I blame them. Yes, I'm sure, like, I wasn't there on set. I don't know exactly what Joss Whedon said, but that dude came in at the last minute, and we see how stuff is credited. We see how that movie is really jumbled together. We also see a company bending over backwards to give a guy another chance at it. So, there's so many layers to this story. And I don't think anybody's a good guy in any of it. Even you have Zack Snyder, who had to step away for other sad reasons. I mean, he helped really build the Zack Snyder universe that we all talk about and critique and question. So nobody's above anything in this situation. I don't think anybody's the good guy here. Maybe Henry Cavill. Just
Henry Cavill did nothing
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And neither did Ben Affleck.
I was gonna say the same thing. I got nothing but respect for Ben Affleck. Is he my favorite actor? Shit, no. But I like
Jason Momoa. Ain't nobody talking about him. He's a cool dude. He just shows up and leaves.
Yeah, I'll give those
said
3,
nothing.
and we'll throw Gal in there.
Jason
for
Momoa did
Jason
good.
Momoa was just recently saying Trump supporters are pieces of shit.
God damn it!
Yeah.
All right, throw him in the heap.
In general.
Yeah, wasn't he going nuts about that? Telescope.
He also had another one too, where like he apparently like ripped on Chris Pratt for having a plastic water bottle in a photo shoot, which wasn't even, it's like not your idea what you put in the photo shoot. That's someone else's plan. And Chris Pratt was like, "Yeah, I have my reusable one on set. Oh well." And everyone was like, "Why are you freaking out about this, Jason Momoa?" And then pulled out a million pictures of him using plastic water bottles. So, like, get off your fucking high horse.
I'm the water guy now.
I can't believe nobody took the opportunity to make a joke about sea creatures and plastic. There's definitely something there.
Oh, that's apparently his angle, though. Like, you can't make the joke because that's his legitimate angle. Is I'm Aquaman. I believe in saving the ocean. Fuck plastic.
And you know what I would have said? Guess what? Somebody's eating fish sticks. Go stop them.
Dude, until all that shit came out, I would have eaten his fish stick, if you know what I mean. But
Well,
I call him Sons of Aquaman, Arky, for a reason.
I like your son.
Guess what? You know what? If you really want something to dislike him, he's got a lazy eye. Now that I've said that, you'll never be able to unsee it.
Oh shit! Now I'm googling it. It's getting googled right now.
Outside of whatever, I had put it like this: Jason Momoa, what he brings to the screen, I enjoy. His version of Bro Aquaman is fun. How else do you make Aquaman kind of cool? He's he's usually like a dick in scaly green and orange armor.
Make him DC Thor.
You make him DC Thor. Now, folks, right here on the screen is not a Crow cosplay. It's not an early Halloween addition to the World Class Bullshitters cosplay contest. This is an official image of Jared Leto back as the Joker. Now, we live in a world of reboots, redos, remakes, all this shit. This is one I don't think anybody wanted. I for one, didn't want it the first time. Then we got all the damage makeup and the tattoos and all that dumb shit. And we saw Suicide Squad. And I don't need to bitch about it. You guys have heard me. You guys have bitched. We all know it's shitty. So, of course, if you want to get goodwill on your project, you bring back one of the most contentious parts of your universe. Not just your film, your universe. Because while we have Jared Leto coming back, woohoo, we're all excited. In the back burner, there's Joaquin Phoenix, and that was awesome. You never know what Mark Hamill's going to be doing with Joker voices in the future. All I know, he's retired, apparently, but you know what? Money talks. People can come back all the time. So, with all these cool possibilities of the Joker, you go with this one. Oh, you're cool, man.
I was wondering what that was. At first, I thought it was a siren.
I thought it was a door closing, honestly.
Yeah. Some kids saw this picture, and they were just like, fuck this noise.
Now, Tom, call me crazy, but when I think of the Joker, I think of bright, colorful, and dark and zany. So, dark, atmospheric, gray tones.
Not in
doesn't
a
scream Joker.
Zack Snyder film.
That's true. It is a Zack Snyder film.
You know what
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's trying to do here? He's trying to do the Batman Beyond Joker.
Well, and now I've seen another photo with Batman, like the Nightmare Batman.
That's what
So
this
I wonder
is.
if
Yeah.
that's what this is. Not. It's not like a current day Joker. This is Nightmare future Joker.
Could be either like a
Which
past
still
version
does
or
not
future,
understand
yeah.
it. Like I don't get where his tattoos went.
Well, that's where I'm saying it might be a vision. You're right. Like it's not even. It could be him seeing him from the past, or just a version of him in his vision.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
I think
obviously
you're
this,
right.
like this isn't his clothes. Like this isn't his costume. It
looks
some
like he's
kind of
in
weird
a
doctor outfit.
he looks like he's in a patient gown. Patient
Well,
gown.
he's got like gloves on, so he's almost like a Victor Frankenstein kind of look.
Ooh, good callback.
Well, yeah, Garrett. What Garrett's talking about though is there's a couple other pictures that went along with this that had Batman in it, and he's in his nightmare getup. So I think, and it all looks like it's in one like long hallway with no doors and shit. So it's obviously like a vision or a nightmare or a dream or something like that. Yeah.
What if this is a flashback to when the Joker made Jason Todd? No, say like because you brought Batman Beyond, and people say, "What if Jason Todd is really this Joker?" Well, I don't. Until I see that, okay, fine. But Garrett, you brought up this whole Victor Frankenstein thing in the Batman Beyond world. Since you brought that one up, Tom, the Joker technically is Tim Drake. He was mine, whatever, and all this other shit, and that's cool. That was a cool storyline. But like, what if this is just we saw Tim Drake die, or no, we know he's dead. We've seen the spray painted costume. What if this is a connection to that? What if this is what the Joker looked like before he went nuts?
I'm so over this Snyderverse.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just wanted
to end. Guys, can you just stop making movies connected to this universe? Just stop it. Make it start over.
Well, now the replacement is J.J. Abrams, so
yeah, and that's not. Oh my God, that's probably worse.
So do we win if the Snyder cut makes $1 bajillion and gets everyone on the planet to sign up for HBO Max twice? Is that our only line of defense against J.J. Abrams, or is this a losing cause? No matter how well this does, all roads lead to J.J.
I have no hope.
Well, at least the extended universe movies won't lead to J.J. Those have been all right so far. The Joker movie was great.
I agree.
It was great. Yeah.
I got nothing to shit on that movie for. You know what? It got what it deserved. It got its Oscar nod. It got its award. It got its moment in the sun before the world shit the bed. And I like that movie for one extra reason. People tried to cancel it. They tried to tell us it was dangerous to see that movie. It represented terrible things. It was going to bring out the worst in society.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that didn't happen once.
They should have loved it because it was kind of, there was some kind of social justice stuff in it a little.
Yeah.
So they should have loved it
this last summer.
Yeah. But they tried to cancel it because, it's just what they do.
Because white men's.
Now, on the flip of this, we started off talking about WandaVision and some of the multiverse stuff, and we know that's where they're going to go with this Flash universe. We've talked about Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. And on paper, a lot of these big DC announcements are really exciting. Oh, not to sound hyperbolic, but some of them are like you stop the press, is Michael Keaton Batman? Holy shit, those are words I never thought I'd read in a million years. They all make for great headlines, but if you take just a 5-second Google search, you kind of see, I don't want to call it the breakdown of their plan, but the absence of an actual plan, because it's like 3 different things happening concurrently, and it feels like they're just hoping one of them works. Kind of like The Mandalorian. They're just, hey, we hope something works from Disney Star Wars. Well, holy shit, something really worked.
Well, shit at the wall and like, what sticks?
Well, I don't know if you I don't know if you guys have followed any of our reporting, because we broke a lot of this stuff too and got deep into it. And basically what their plan is and what they're able to do are 2 different things right now. Because you have AT&T on one end pushing for things. You have the old DC regime pushing for things. And then in the end, you basically just have like them coming to some kind of conclusion of, well, let's just make it all work together cohesively. And AT&T is just like, do things to get, butts in the seats, or in this case, eyes on HBO Max. And that's really where a lot of this shit comes from. And I hope there's longevity with the Michael Keaton thing. Right now, as far as we know, it's just for the one movie, but it's supposedly going to lead to more. But I'm hearing some exciting things. So like on both ends of Marvel and DC, like I'm starting to see where they're going with this, and I'm apprehensive about some things. Other things I'm kind of like, okay, bring it on. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see which one does it better, because that's really what we're looking at now is like, oh, you did this. Well, that's cute. Look what we can do. And that's really what we're getting here is a lot of the one-upsmanship on this whole thing.
It's DC's time. Marvel's had it for 10 years. It goes in cycles. You've got DC early 90s, then late 90s, 2000s. You got Marvel kind of coming back, and then you got DC again. And then, with like the Dark Knight and all those things, That goes for about 10 years. And then you got Marvel coming up with the MCU. That's about 10 years. Now it's DC's turn. They should have their shit together. They should have been getting ready for this. But instead, they've been fucking around, and now they're in all these different directions. We got Snyder coming back, and then we've got other kind of Snyder connected movies, but not really connected because we're not doing that anymore. And then we've got, the Batman over here, and then Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and it's kind of like confusing, like what is going on? If they just came out and said, hey, we're going to just do a bunch of separate movies, they're not connected like Marvel, like we're just going to go, here's Joaquin Phoenix Joker, here's a different take on Batman over here, here's a different take on Superman.
That's what they were going to do.
Like, that's what they just need to say. Like, don't, stop this. We're all connected. It's all connected. Oh, my God. Just separate.
That's what they were going to do, but I know I'm going to piss some people off in the chat by saying this right now. That's what they were going to do, but it all changed because of the fucking Snyder Cut shit. The moment the Snyder Cut happened, that changed everything. Otherwise, that's the direction they were headed, was they were going to separate everything again. Joker, that was kind of like, nope, this is it. We're done with this Snyderverse thing. And then AT&T changed that.
Well, do you remember, Tom, back when I was streaming with Cecil all the time, Cecil was like, I would love to see the DC films basically do one per villain and then eventually build to this Batman thing. And he was really gung-ho on the Mr. Scarface movie, and that was like his idea in the pitch. And I thought that opens up a lot. You could either have Batman in the background of these films, that's the only way I could deal with Robert Pattinson, or you could just have no Batman in these films and really just build up a world. And I was on board with the one. See, I liked the way DC used to do it, where you have your Batman film and it has its own timeline, but it kind of mentions Superman. Mm-hmm. Knowing everything, like Spider-Man 2, when they talk about Doctor Strange being out there, it's taken. Like, I like knowing that the characters are out there in the world. Hell, even seeing them is awesome. But the novelty of them, everything being connected, is over. So I would just like to see movies that are connected, but not connected, if that makes sense. Like, they're their own individual stories. They don't worry about the other movies. You just know that Thor's out there, or that Captain Marvel's a bitch in this timeline as well.
That's kind of what they were going to do, from my understanding. But then, like I said, things kind of changed now, and now they've gotten to this point where to be able to kind of come to some kind of conclusion with everybody, they basically just come up with this whole multiverse thing, and then Disney just copied.
I was having a thought a second ago, and one of the reasons why we keep talking about DC screwing the pooch, messing up the future generations. I think there's a reason I don't think that we're not talking about yet, and it's Harry Potter, because Harry Potter's that kid franchise that you'd think is whatever, it's here and gone, but I don't like it, but that thing still, they keep making shit about it. There's new movies, there's this theme park, all this stuff.
They're supposed to make it a TV show, right?
We got to be careful, because if J.K. Rowling is attached, people will want to cancel it again. Yeah, she's a turf.
Dude, I don't even know what she said, but
she basically said
there were two genders. That's what she said.
No, she said, actual women have to deal with periods and all this stuff, and we shouldn't put that experience down.
Nope. Yeah,
I thought there was also
you're saying that men can't have periods, JK?
I thought there was a tweet where she said the other thing though too. But
I am so not a J.K. Rowling anything that
I don't care.
It's just funny cancel culture. She is woke as well.
Yeah,
she's had other woke.
She helped cancel culture come to existence. So fuck her. But I just find it funny. Every time something happens, they blow up in her face.
Well, this is why. Based on this new revelation / theory, I think that's why Disney treats Star Wars as its second-tier property, because Marvel is the one that makes all their money for everybody, and Warner Brothers makes more from Harry Potter, has it recently, so they probably look at, kids like Harry Potter, they like this shit, so why even put money into the DC stuff? I mean, the merchandising that I talk about is really indicative of where they know their demographics are. DC right now has a couple different toy lines, but their biggest one is probably the McFarlane one. Priced a little older, skewed a little older. I think they know that the kid demographic is there. They have to appease that one. But Warner Brothers knows that this is like their teenager and to 30-year-old stuff. And I think they're making it too edgy to try to appeal to that age group. And so they're really their own worst enemy. Warner Brothers should just take its head out of ass and move forward.
Yeah, and as I said before, Joker was like one of the worst and best things at the same time to happen, because it's going to give Warner Brothers and Hollywood the wrong ideas. And it also showed what we've been saying all along, is you just give us a good story. We don't need $1 billion movie. You know, you don't have to spend $250 million to make $1 billion. You know what I mean? Like, you give us something good and we'll see it and we'll appreciate it. And Joker wasn't even anything that original per se. It was just, you know, it's kind of like, if you really look at it, it was like if Quentin Tarantino decided he was going to make a comic book movie. Let's be real. He took a bunch of, you know how he does. He takes a bunch of stuff and puts it together. And that's what the Joker was.
That's why I want like the separated movies. Like, I want to see a Guillermo del Toro Batman. Like, what does that look like? What does that look like? You know, like, you give these characters to a bunch of different people, and it kind of mirrors the comic books, right? I mean, you don't always get the same Batman and the same writer. It's always changing. There's different arcs and different Batmans, and it always kind of, you've got that same core Batman mythos to kind of branch off of, but you've got different people's styles. So like, I'd love to see that in a movie form, and that's the opposite of what Marvel's doing. Marvel's doing the polar opposite and going, every single character that you ever see on screen is in this universe. It's all connected. And DC can do the opposite and go, we're going to take these characters in a bunch of different places. Maybe some of them will stick, some of them won't. But the whole thing is we're going to keep moving forward, keep making new shows. I think that's the problem, is that they're trying to mirror what Marvel's doing without the build up. I mean, we all saw the Justice League BVS stuff, just kind of like they rushed it way too fast, and it was too much all at once, and it wasn't set up as well as Marvel was. So they just need to do something separate.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I was going to say, it's like in 2013 when Man of Steel dropped and you thought we were building to something bigger. The reason it really does work is they have such a great launching point with Iron Man and Jon Favreau, and Zack Snyder's not Jon Favreau. Look, Jon Favreau can start the Marvel universe, fix part of the Star Wars universe. Like, the guy's just that next level of like filmmaker / business guy / I know how to tie a universe together. Snyder was just too artistic visiony, not big picture.
I like some of his movies.
Give one movie too, but like an entire world. No,
300 was great. I love 300.
Yeah, he's got a couple of.
I even
movies.
like the Watchmen movie he made.
I liked Watchmen
a lot,
and I don't even mind Dawn of the Dead. But like, yeah, he's great if you give him a good story. He's got a strong vision to work with because he's a visionary, and he's great with characters like Batman. But the first mistake was I think you said the wrong year, but like that's the biggest thing, is it took them 5 years to get their start here. Yeah, they had a non-starter with Green Lantern, but they had a shot at getting ahead of the game with of Marvel, but they fucked around because Superman didn't come out, or Man of Steel, I should say, didn't come out until fucking 2013. That was 5 years after we got fucking Iron Man, for Pete's sake.
What a great idea that was. How about we make a movie about a depressed Superman?
It actually came out the year after Avengers.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned it earlier, Jeff, the whole George Miller Justice League they were going to do. They should have just started with that. I don't know why they just didn't do it backwards and go like, well, fuck it. We'll just start with a Justice League. You know, we'll have a couple of big Justice League, a big story arc for the Justice League. And then from there, we'll just, spin off all our characters of that. And then you just bring in some new different new characters to the Justice League movies to introduce them. And you just keep doing it that way. The opposite of what don't try to copy them. Just do because that's the thing that DC didn't understand from the start. And things like Joker and shit like that proved was that people know these characters. Mm-hmm. They already know these characters. We don't need to see a big origin story for all of them, because all of them, we already know they're the main swath of them's arcs. We already know Batman had his parents killed, and Superman's from outer space and all that bullshit. And even most people know that Flash was electrocuted and all that kind of shit.
Wait,
like most people.
You mean Batman had his parents killed?
No, you didn't know that, Mecca?
No, I've never seen that before ever.
I need another movie to show me.
You better get one because, totally.
Because the reoccurring joke is that Tom always likes to point out how his parents have been killed more than anybody else on screen.
Including Dracula is what I say.
Including
Because my guess is outside of them, Dracula has probably been killed on screen more times than any other character in history.
Well, you could argue that they've killed Superman's character more times on screen, but
True.
argument for another day. Semantics, even. Overall, you think we're headed in a good direction for superhero stuff on TV? I don't really have too many concerns. WandaVision's been cool. Now, on the other side, I'm looking at Batwoman, the CW Superman show. There's talks that I think Amazon or one of these other big streamers wants to produce, HBO Max wants to produce a show at the CW. Like, there's value and growth.
Can we just get rid of the CW? Why do we
no
keep
CW
expanding on this shit? Like, you would think, well, the ratings have been shit for the past couple of years, but
Why don't they just call it the
these
Greg
people
Berlanti channel?
throwing money at it.
It's like all it is Greg Berlanti shows anyway.
I can't believe they renewed Batwoman already. Like,
I know.
it's
Hilarious.
great though.
Oh, I can. Yeah, because they cancel proof the motherfucker.
Yeah. Black lesbian. I mean, come on.
You can't cancel that.
20. I hope they give it 20-something episodes for season 3, just so we can see how far the ratings go into the toilet. Because
just to see how bad it can get for a show, like, so it can be the lowest rated show of all times.
yeah,
Like, I remind people that like the Pauly Shore show had better ratings than this shit and got canceled in like fucking 6 episodes or whatever it was, 5 episodes.
Movies and TV have just become this really.
Don't you
fun
talk
game
about my
to
hero.
spend ridiculous amounts of money to prove you're not racist.
That's
That's all it is.
that's what it
That's
is.
all it is. Yeah.
And
that's a
and
Superman
and if
show.
you
I don't
do that, then you're racist, and you're not allowed to make movies.
I'm gonna watch that Superman show, but I feel like it's gonna be the lowest show, and they kind of
Didn't I send you that script?
Well, they've cucked that Superman in Supergirl.
I'm just not interested in any of those CW shows, like, at all. I've never been.
I'll watch anything
I
with
barely
Superman in
watched-
it. Superman's
barely
one of my
watched that
favorite
movie.
characters.
Well, yeah, Superman is my favorite superhero, so I'll probably watch it. But I have that script for like a year now. I thought I sent it to you.
Yeah, you did. It's not very good.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, they all suck.
And
That's
to be
surprising.
fair, they may have done some rewrites since then, but still, because they actually fired a writer since then. Because that was where that one writer, that one chick, was like, they fired me because I'm black, not because my writing sucks. I know my writing's good. And this is the problem they're going to create, though. This is the thing that they're not seeing is in the next couple of years, I hope we see a lot of this. And here's more Schadenfreude on my case. But no, I hope that we get a lot of black and Hispanic and what have you writers and lesbian writers and gay writers and everything coming out and go, wait a minute. Did you really hire me because I'm good, or did you just fucking hire me because I'm gay? Because now you're firing me. Because, they're only going to use them for as long as they need them. Because you guys are right. Like, everybody keeps going, well, why would they keep doing this if they're going to keep losing money? It's not about losing money. You guys just said what it's all about. It's about spending enough money until it's like, okay, we're good. We can do just about anything we want now. Nobody's going to call us racist. And then they're not going to care anymore. They're going to just do what they do. And I'm not saying it's going to get any better or worse. I'm just saying that's what it's going to eventually lead to is once they've used all these people up, they're just not going to care anymore. Once they've gotten enough woke points built up, then they'll be good to go. So that's all it's really about in the end.
I just would like to say that Superman show will never be viewed by me because he's got too weak of a chin and too thin of a neck to be Superman. He looks like
I don't
he
like
beat up
that
by
guy as
somebody.
Superman. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Whoever, I can't think of the actor's name.
His name's like Taylor Hecklin or Hacklin or whatever.
Yeah, Hackford or I don't know.
It's got like a unibrow.
Yeah,
It's not working for me.
call me crazy, but I guess I've been conditioned to see all the superheroes be larger than life. And he's Superman. He's supposed to be the top of the mountain. DC.
Why couldn't they just got Brandon Routh?
What was really funny in that Crisis crossover for the CW, they had Brandon Routh come back for Superman, and he was like twice the size of the.
He's fucking
the
Superman.
CW. Yeah, he's way
Motherfucker
bigger.
got the short shaft,
Yes.
right?
I don't. How the fuck they don't give that? Here's a mountain of money. Like, he probably would have done it for cheap.
You don't even
You
have
already
to
got him to come back and play the character again. How they didn't do like a mini series or something based on his Superman, because that's basically continuation of the Christopher Reeve
Well, it
Superman.
doesn't even have to be that. Just give him a Superman show. I mean, make it his own, but he was perfect for the part.
Well, Superman Returns was a sequel.
It is.
And that
I
was
get
the
that,
same
yeah.
Superman. So it's like, well, you could do this show. And he obviously would fucking do it. Why didn't you do that show? Why the hell they didn't do that? It just blows me away. Because he would have done it, and that would have printed money.
Well, I would have been happier either way. That's my point, though, is like this guy should be Superman. I don't care if he's playing the same Superman from before or if he's playing a new Superman now. Either way, the guy is Superman to me. Like he's perfect for the part. I mean, yeah, Henry Cavill's great for what we got on. Let him be the big screen Superman, and I'd be all over a fucking weekly Superman show with Brandon Routh as Superman. You fucking kidding?
I feel like his window has closed
I don't think so.
over a
he's
decade
gotta
ago.
do it. I don't know. Like,
Well, I
was
like
one of the highlights of that crossover. I mean, like, I don't know unless you disagree, guys. I mean,
Yeah, he was great. And that's the only reason I watched it was just to see him come back. He was great in it. It was like he's just picking it back up.
he's not that old, is he?
No, I don't think so. He's probably early 40s.
Well, I liked Brandon Routh when the movie came out. I thought he did get the short end of the stick because he wasn't bad, but at the same time, he was cast because he had a passing resemblance in some angles to Christopher Reeve, and
I never saw
he was
that.
kind of the victim of that whole movie.
Never
because,
understood that.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I never understood that. I
He
didn't-
has the voice, but I don't really see it otherwise. I mean, he has his own unique look as far as I'm concerned, but
Dude, I'm watching him currently
41.
on this show called The Rookie, where he's
he's
playing this
only
corrupt
41. Fuck yes, give him the show, man.
41, boom.
He's only a year older than me. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I
Make him a Superman that's been, active for like 15 years. He's like an experienced Superman that's
He
like
could
that's what
play
I want.
30, 35.
Yeah, he could age down a little bit.
I think you should keep Superman off TV. And look at how do they treat Batman? Batman's never on TV. He doesn't get any kind of low tier appearance. Every time Batman shows up in anything, it's a big deal. They can sell you, you can get 10, 20, 50 million views on a YouTube trailer because Batman shows up. But Superman, he's been overexposed. And I know that sounds crazy to think, oh, Jeff, their big flagship character. Of course you want to see him all the time. You do.
Well, the best version of Batman was TV.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I get what
Batman in the
you're
animated
Jeff,
series, that character got revived from that show.
but I was just going to say, let me propose this to you, Jeff, because you know what? This is the biggest mistake DC has made to this point. You could be doing a high-end TV series of Batman
Premier TV show.
in the vein of Batman the animated series, then it still wouldn't cost you that much, and everybody would. It would be the #1 show on television. I bet.
Yeah,
If you gave us a weekly TV series that's as serious as
most
Batman
of the episodes would be him doing detective work. It's not
Yeah,
going to cost you that
exactly.
much money. Like
It's
you
not
could
Game
even
of
do it in
Thrones
noir
levels of-
style,
Yeah.
and it would
most
be
of the bad guys
great.
are real easy to do. I mean, and look, I mean, I bet it would be so because look how popular shit like Gotham and crap is. That is really pretty much just Batman without Batman. If you just did a proper Batman show, I bet you it'd be one of the biggest shows, especially if you did it on HBO Max wants to do something right now.
Do it high level. It's got to be high level premier TV show Batman. You sink a shit ton of money into it, like Game of Thrones level money. You make it look real nice, almost like a movie.
Get the guys who worked
People
on
are
the
gonna go to
animated
that.
series, yeah. Get like Paul Dini and all those guys who wrote for the animated
Oh
series.
man, I'd
and
be so
stuff.
excited.
in theory too, it wouldn't be that expensive. I mean,
No,
Batman,
that's my
right.
You can do it high end and it would still be cheap. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah, you'd just be solving crimes. Like that's
Yeah.
not gonna.
well, one cool thing that Batman the Animated Series did more so than anything post that, you got to see Batman as this like swashbuckling hero, and it was really cool to see him leave Gotham at times. Now, of course, if you're going to make a Batman show, the premise isn't to leave Gotham as much as possible, but every once in a while, I want to see Batman go to Japan like Wolverine did, or and that's in the canon of Batman too. That's not me like hoping they transpose this from that character to that one, but like I'm all about a Batman TV show. I think it could look as good as a movie every week. I don't think you should go fully black armor this time. If you're going to do all these TV show suits, make one with the black and gray and blue and shit. Make it look like a comic book, but evolve it and make Batman cool and make him heroic. Give him a big chin, make him look like a caricature of a hero, and throw him out there. Make the stories cool. Batman comes.
You know how much it cost me the last time I went to China? I had to freaking rent an entire ballet.
You know what? That was a baller move, though. I don't love that movie the way most people do, but that was a cool scene.
You like Ice Guy? That was awesome.
I'm just laughing at some of the people in the chat right now.
Fucking expensive.
Real quick to jump off the point, somebody mentioned Green Lantern earlier. I want Green Lantern to have its new film, but I kind of want to see all 3 human Green Lanterns. It doesn't have to be just Hal Jordan. I'd like to see Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner. They're a core, find some reason why he would defend his sector or he needs help and they team up. Fuck,
there's a show. Isn't like that kind of like almost like a Dragnet in space, basically? Kind of
like Lethal Weapon, essentially.
That'd be dope. Could make buddy cop in space.
Garrett, dude, Space Lethal Weapon 2.
Hell yes.
And the reason I go 2 is because I don't need a whole backstory of how Hal Jordan's depressed and wants to kill himself or something like original Part 1.
And lives in a fucking trailer in the end of the galaxy.
Hey. That movie's so good, though.
They're
like, please, come on.
It is awesome.
It is so good. And the scene when they get mad at each other, he jumps off a thing and he's like, Riggs, come over here. Oh, God, so good. I love that movie.
You want to jump? We're going to jump.
We're going to jump. And then he gives him the gun. He's like, pull the trigger.
I love that movie.
It's such a good... They're dynamic. And if you can get that in a Green Lantern Corps movie, like, they need to do that.
Right there, man.
On the table. You just need to take it.
It makes me so sad that... And folks, people go, you guys complain about DC. Nobody would really complain about DC if the bar hadn't been set so high at the beginning of the millennium. You can take it back before the Christopher Nolan stuff. Folks, you can say, only Nolan is what justified Batman, this, that, and the other. Nah. The guys on TV, the animated series stuff really brought a level of class and realism to those DC characters. And maybe we sound entitled, but an entire generation of kids grew up watching all of that stuff exclusively. Yes, the 90s could be called the Marvel age of superheroes, but it was just as much the DC age, and the DC was just better most times. Like X-Men's one of the greatest cartoons ever, but Batman is just that much better. Spider-Man's great, but so is Justice League.
In the aughts, I mean, the Justice League show, Justice League Unlimited, like those are solid TV
and all
shows
that was spun off of
appeal to everybody.
And all that was spun off of the Batman animated series too.
Right? Yeah. So like you can do them. Oh man, those stories. Just make those. Like you've got it. You've got your template right there. Just do that. Why is it that hard?
So let's catch up with the audience for a couple of moments and see what they have to say. So let me scroll back. YouTube's been acting crazy. So Adam Wofford, thank you very much for your generous super chat. He says, hey, Quarterblack Garrett, check out Ghost Stories anime. There's a line from one episode which goes, I now know it won't work between us. Not because you're a rabbit, but you're black.
I don't even need context.
Oh my god! Oh, Ghost Stories. I'm looking it up. I'm gonna get cultured.
Valiant Renegade, thank you very much for your generous super chat. He says, seems Marvel is using low-cost, low-risk mediums like comics to satiate SJW demands while mostly keeping film projects more mainstream. Marvel feels they have political capital to burn. New vid coming. That's a really interesting perspective, Valiant Renegade. It's sad that they feel that you need to satiate SJW demands. If that's, for whatever they see value in that, I would counter that if you weren't worried about the SJW demand in quotations, you wouldn't be going to Comic-Con to see how poorly books sell because people would be on board with it. And not to sound like bandwagoning is cool, but when there's a property or something that really captures the public's attention, it's not really bandwagoning to be a fan. You just kind of catch on to whatever's popular. They fucked up. But that's a topic for your video, not mine right here. So folks, check out Valiant Renegade. Alfred Pepper, thank you very much. He says, hail the High Council, Quarter Black, Garrett, and Yellow Flash. Been enjoying the show. Jeff, do you have Star Wars Lost Star on your list? Hail to the brood. I do now, Alfred Pepper. I had never, I don't think that was on my radar, Star Wars Lost Star. But I take every recommendation, and I take a picture of it, and I keep it in my phone. So there you go. It's been added to the list. But hail to the toxic brood. I'm glad you remember that. Valiant Renegade again, thank you very much. Star Wars went the opposite way. Started with SJW bad characters and stories, now trying to dig their way out, leaving SJWs in comics and young adult books. And personally, I don't think that's the coolest balance because, you know, at the lower tier, your books still suck. Like, if I owned a property, I want it to be good from across the board. And people go, what's good? That's subjective. Yeah, well, if I own the fucking property, it's good by my standards. Star Wars has no standards.
At the moment.
Yeah. Historically, they have, man. When we go off air, Garrett, I want to recommend a book to you. Everybody, actually. But, dude, if you're anybody that's into Star Wars, even just have a cursory interest in it, this is one of the best books. So I'll talk about that towards the end of the show.
All right, man.
Corey Dillon, thank you very much. He says, Gundam has already done Star Wars better than modern Lucasfilm over 40 years ago. Amuro Ray and Char Aznable are the anime versions of Luke and Vader. I was not aware of that, Corey. But I have been reading about some of the inspirations for Darth Vader, and they're put it like this. There's a secondary narrative to the creation of Star Wars that everyone parrots. But the first one isn't as cool. Actually, like that. The real one isn't as artistic, but it's just as cool. So, Hero of a Thousand Faces with Joseph Campbell is an inspiration, but there's other inspirations to Star Wars based on this book, which also have interviews from George Lucas himself that tell you there's a little more to the story. So the more I get into the story, the more I'll be relaying it to you folks. So just keep listening to the High Council. I'll give you guys like a little mini book report about what I'm learning about George Lucas. It's kind of cool.
I bring that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just bring that up a lot of times, how people always cite the hero's journey and all that kind of stuff, or the Joseph Campbell books. And it's like, he didn't even use a lot of that stuff until Empire and Jedi.
Well, dude, I'll just tell this isn't like some spoiler. I didn't write the fucking book, but a lot of George Lucas's inspiration for Star Wars comes from a lot of comic books that he read.
Yep.
And like, there's way more inspired by Doctor Doom and other shit, serials and stuff George Lucas was looking at than people. Like, it's not like he went to school, read Hero of a Thousand Faces, and then created Star Wars. He was a shitty student by his own accord. He read comics and wanted to race and do all this shit and drew, was an artist, owned a comic book store at one point. Like, the dude's way cooler than you think. And I also feel really bad for him because, like, the thing he worked to create has been sold to the devil, and it just sucks. But hey, he's laughing all the way to the bank, so I can't.
Well, no, and he likes his revisionist history. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on him or nothing, because, you know, I have
mythos.
He likes to build up the mythos. You know, it's not as cool the other way. You know, I get it. It is what it is.
Well, I just love the honesty of this book, because this isn't officially a Star Wars book. This is
I know the one you're talking about. I think
it's so good, man.
But yeah, like I like here's a quick example of what I'm talking about. Sure, he got inspired by serials and all that stuff, but in the versions he always tells I went to see these serials as a kid in the theater, and I want to go. No, he saw this shit on TV. He didn't say that part. That's really what it was. He grew up in front of the TV reading comic books and shit.
He was watching TV every day as he was writing the original draft of Star Wars. I think he was watching Star Trek. So
yeah, that's another thing. He liked to sit there and say he was never a big fan of Star Trek that much either, or whatever, too. And that's bullshit.
The only reason I'm really relaying a lot of this is the dude was way more like a lot of us than we realized.
I know, yeah. He's more like a regular geek than he wants to let everybody think he is.
And I think Star Wars have made people put him on a pedestal, and rightly so. He's created something cool. But it's just a dude that created... And the funny thing is, like, this book talks about how the Star Wars company... Like, Star Wars, after the first movie, they had a whole plan because they wanted to use the Star Wars money to fund other non-commercial projects. It's, like, really cool how blunt the Star Wars story really is underneath it all. Yes, there's this grand epic he wants to tell, but there's also commercial aspirations and endeavors, and I respect how the property was created. So,
he wasn't dumb about it at all.
No, he's legit. I love it.
Oh yeah, he was a very smart man, or is a very smart man. I mean, I guess we can make the argument on that as far as selling Star Wars, but hey, that's another conversation.
Yeah, it's a sad ending to a great story.
It's almost a complete parable to selling your soul to the devil. I mean, that's the sad part is...
You call them the white slavers.
Yep. I think it's
right after it happened.
I think he's a parallel to Darth Vader, one of his greatest creations. I mean, that's
Oh yeah, especially if you
really
look at
read
how
into
he
it.
created Lucasfilm as an empire, definitely.
Yeah.
And the sad, and it's a very tragic story too, because I don't know how, I can't remember if that's the book that gets into it too much, but basically the bottom line is he created Lucasfilm so his wife didn't have to leave, and she ended up leaving him. Like it really, like the story of the prequels is really the story of George. It really is, if you really break it down, and it's really kind of tragic because it's this guy who built this whole world around this woman who ended up leaving him because he got so wrapped up into Star Wars and building this empire. So it's a real analogy for the whole thing. Yeah.
Why did she hate money?
Well, it's not that she hated money. She just got sick and tired of George not being there and making promises that he couldn't keep.
I haven't made it that far into the story. We're just riding high off of, well, technically, they're on the beach in Hawaii.
Yeah, the problems don't start till about Empire. That's when the problems
That's when he was really
in.
taking it off. Well,
Yeah.
I blame her. She should have let him make that money. She could have been living on Skywalker Ranch, feeding chickens, something like that. No.
Well, the thing I will always give her the credit for that, sadly, the official narrative of Star Wars seems to like to write out is, yes, she edited that movie, but
Yeah.
you know, folks, that whole end trench run, that narrative was crafted by the editing team. The original plot is they just fly to the Death Star. That whole Death Star approaching 15 minutes countdown shit, editing additions, it's all out there for the history of this book or this movie, and she's the one that made the trench run great. I mean, there's multiple in the original edit. Luke makes multiple trench runs himself. They're Blue Squadron. It's a whole different movie, and that lady really makes that climax what it is. And so it's just weird how she gets written out of the history of the the movie, but whatever.
Yeah, and she may or may not have cheated on him, but you know what? He got his revenge. I mean, and he blacklisted her and railroaded her out of Hollywood. She's been practically erased from the history of Star Wars, like you were just saying, Jeff. I mean, either way you look at it, whether she did or didn't in the end. I mean,
What if Kathleen Kennedy hires her?
she wouldn't.
That'd be so weird. What would you hire her for? To be fair, if you did,
Just kidding.
I know you are, but
You know what's sad is Marsha Lucas was one of the greatest editors we've ever had, and she was a female director when that was not a norm.
Yeah, that's true.
She did she contributed to that film, so that's all I really know.
Not just that film though. She's edited a lot of other big movies too.
Oh,
Well,
no,
not a lot, but a
I'm saying
handful anyway. A handful.
I don't think I've seen her other movies, like New York, right? That was one of her big ones with Scorsese or whoever she was editing for. I'd never seen those movies. I just know her as George
Yes,
Lucas.
it was New York, and actually that was one of the reasons why George doesn't like Martin Scorsese, is because supposedly he hit on her.
Is he the one she
Did he
cheated
smash
on him
it?
with?
No, it was somebody. The guy she ended up with is the guy who designed the lobby or something like that for Lucasfilm. Like he was some, yeah.
Talk
Just
about
some
trading down.
Yeah, what the heck?
Is he at least like ripped, like beach body surfer guy or something?
Yeah, she's like, I just want
Probably
the
looks
cool
just
boy.
like George.
Yeah, and she also worked on Taxi Driver as well. So it could have been between that or New York, but yeah.
Oh, maybe she fucked Robert De Niro. That's the guy.
Oh, Francis Ford Coppola hit on her too, supposedly. So,
Is she
No.
hot? What does she look like?
well, she was pretty hot back in the day. That was the thing, is George went out with her basically because he heard she liked him and he knew he couldn't do any better. That's exactly what he kept saying, and that's why he married her too. So it didn't even sound like it was really out of love. It was just kind of like, it was more of just like social status kind of a thing. It was really kind of weird how it was put in the book I read about it. I think it's the one you're in right now, Jeff, but I'm not sure.
Secret History of Star Wars.
It's one of them. I can't see because I've read so many now that they all kind of blend together.
Well, Chris Gore, when he was on the show, he was
Yeah,
telling me about this book, and I was like, I gotta listen to it, or at least, well, I should have read it. But long story short, I had it in my queue. Like, I was already ready for this book, so I've been working on the new comic and stuff. So I just decided I need something to listen to. And so I listened to this, and I can't stop listening to it. I got a fucking badge from Audible. You listen to a book for 5 hours on the weekend. Good job. I sent that text to Jesse. I'm like, I got a book medal. I'm a nerd again.
You know what's sad is the pandemic killed my whole like book thing, because like, you know, I used to go places. That's when I used to listen to my
Oh, is that
audio
the new
books.
book that came out? Is that the one that has the Disney trilogy outline, the Lucas outline?
No, I don't think so. Because The Secret History of Star Wars has been out for a while.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
And then there was another book to come out here a couple of years back too that I might be mixing some of the things up with about George as well. And then there's been other books that I've read and other transcripts and things that I've read too. So it's hard to say. I've got a whole half-ass produced thing because I started with George Lucas is a hypocrite, and it's all about how he fought for directors' rights and then went and did the special editions and won't release the other versions. And then the second half is George Lucas is a hypocrite and an asshole, and it got into the whole relationship and everything, and just how he's basically tried to erase the original films just to get rid of her, basically. It's like, yeah, maybe she cheated on him, maybe she didn't, but it's kind of petty in the end with
Very
all the
bitter.
crap. Yeah, well, a lot of it stems back to the night she won the Oscar, I guess. That's what a lot of people think. That was the night things changed between them.
Well,
he didn't get one, and she did.
Well, if we go by, their documentaries that they put out themselves, man, whatever happened was brutal enough for him to write Temple of Doom and want to make it as dark as it was. So, like I said, by his own admission, it was rough. It was bad for him. I'm
sure it was.
Jesse, I said, you know what? I'm sorry that the guy went through shit, but I love Temple of Doom. So whatever got us Temple of Doom, I love that movie.
I love it.
Me too.
Good. People always trash it. I always get this feeling.
Is Mecca still alive? We haven't heard from her in a while.
Everyone's laughing and giggling in the background. I keep muting
you. Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't heard you, so.
So, our friend Matt Hepp says, when it comes to heroes becoming villains, the best example I can think of is Hal Jordan / Parallax, but they retconned it and Hal became boring again. I know that storyline. I don't know. Well, I don't want to sell myself short. When the Green Lantern movie was coming out, I hung out with my buddy Joel all the time, and he's a huge Green Lantern nut. So I was reading Green Lantern history, like the fucking relaunch with Gil Kane and I can't remember who wrote the fucking thing. Anyway, long story short, 50s Green Lantern, the whole Hal Jordan, that one. And I went back to the source, was reading it, liked it, didn't read enough of the Parallax shit to understand the story outside of what happened. And then that post shit where he's like, there's a story where he's walking around a city and Hal Jordan fights these rednecks and he uses his Green Lantern ring to make projection squirrels to fight off these hillbillies. So I like Green Lantern. I don't have the same knowledge as but like this. In the Phantom Menace, if you want to go for Green Lantern knowledge, you go to Ethan. The dude worked on the fucking thing. But, that's all. That's as far as I go. I like the character, but I don't know too much more. Miguel Olmo, thank you very much. He says, I hope you guys are all having a good night. I just wanted to ask a question. Can anyone tell me, is DC Starman worth reading or not? YellowFlash, have you read it?
DC Starman? I haven't read that.
I have not either. That's Alan Moore, I think. DC Comics. Because when I type in Starman, I get the whole... Okay, so Starman, Jack Knight, but wasn't there like a famous one that was like a retelling or something? Maybe I'm wrong. No, I haven't read it though. Sorry, Miguel. I couldn't give you any advice. Sentinel Rex says, Brie Larson, I'm Captain Marvel, and you got to deal with it. Do we though? Because I don't think a lot of people are going to go support number 2.
No.
Yeah, we don't. It's not necessary.
Yeah,
she can be Captain Marvel if she wants.
I can't wait to see how that movie does, since it's not sandwiched between 2 Avengers movies.
It doesn't have everybody expecting there's something important in it.
I think that's what the early WandaVision, or the early WandaVision disconnect came from, is people expecting so much to be sprinkled in already. But I'm glad we put it like this. I'm glad we have the situation where we have had so much superhero entertainment that people can complain when this one doesn't move fast enough. I'd rather have this complaint than basically live back in the 90s where it's like, oh, you want to watch X-Men? Well, here's that Gen X show. Or you want to get a Justice League? Here's that unreleased trailer we'll never make. So we got it much better now than we used to.
Well, and Robert Meyer Burnett was talking about that too, and he was getting some flack for it. But no, he's right. Like, people that are young and don't know because they weren't alive or were too young enough to remember, like, we didn't get this kind of stuff on an everyday basis. Like, it was a rarity to get like the Flash series, which only lasted a year, to get something like Batman, you know, and Dick Tracy and all those movies in a little clump was like, you know, something different and new because, you know, we'd only had Superman and Supergirl to that point, which Supergirl was basically a spinoff of Superman. So, I mean, those were the only movies we had that were like mainstream comic book movies. I mean, sure, we had like Heavy Metal and Barbarella and a few things before that, and Howard the Duck failed, but
Yeah.
outside of the Hulk on TV, there wasn't a lot of stuff that you could really talk about. They tried doing Captain America a few times. That didn't work out. You know, they tried a few times on a few things, but until Blade and X-Men and Spider-Man, that was like the new renaissance that we're living in now, where like, yeah, we didn't get a lot of sci-fi stuff very often. And if we did, it was usually a ripoff of Star Wars or something else, you know, very rarely. And very rarely were any of those any good. I was trying to say, Jesus, I can't talk tonight.
I've been having the same issue, but I'm usually dehydrated. So I usually use that as a sign as Jeff, get some water. So let's catch up with our friend The Bib, who says, Rogue never got her powers. Could they have her take Brie Larson's powers away?
Hey.
Yes.
Please do.
All you got to do to take away her powers is take away her Twitter.
Well, I mean, they took away her YouTube viewers. Oh, wait, she did that herself.
She did that
That was
herself.
her. That was all her.
That's why she's cranking out the workout videos.
Keep your comments to yourself.
Thank
Are people that thirsty for a Yellow Flash?
Oh, there's so many. Come on, thirsty guys. There's plenty of them.
Pass.
Fair. I was going to make a joke about I didn't realize people would be that desperate, but she's a celebrity, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Sir Angus Fangus Tom made me want to jerk off now to Barbarella. God bless Barbarella.
You see that one video? She has like yoga pants on and she's stretching
Barbarella?
out. No.
Barbarella did much
Brie
better.
Larson.
Darn.
You check
Not
out
every video
Barbarella
she
if
does
you've never
lately.
seen that. Huh?
Oh, the Brie Larson. Isn't every video she's in the yoga pants lately?
Don't give them ideas, because then we will get like Barbarella with fucking Brie Larson. It'll be fucking horrid because it'll be all about women's powers, and she'll be like the most clothes you've ever seen on a woman in your life. To where,
She
you
like the
know,
little
if you've
brother in,
seen
Christmas
Barbarella, Barbarella's a great movie. Even if the story is whatever. Couldn't tell you the fucking story.
Sadly, well, thankfully for Barbarella, I think Barbarella's going to be safe forever because there's that kind of stuff has come and gone so
Yeah, I don't
long
think
ago.
anybody touch it now.
There's just like, I know the Black Adam movie is going to be a thing because The Rock's involved. But that's one
did
of the
you hear
movies-
about what they're not calling it Black Adam now?
Wait, what are they calling it now?
Is it racist?
You didn't hear about that?
I don't. Let's
Shit.
I don't know
Adam.
how legit this is, but I guess I don't know if The Rock put it out there or something like
African
that.
American Adam?
Yeah, they're not calling it Black Adam now, and I'm assuming because of the whole black thing. It's supposedly going to be called Shazadam.
What?
is
Oh,
stupid
get out of
'cause-
here.
Because
shit you
Shazam
not.
means
Get
things.
the fuck out of here.
Shazam actually means something. Shazam, and they try to say that
Shazam.
they're trying to say that it's fake, but there's actually leaked pictures of them calling him Shazam in a comic panel.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about then, Flash.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not fucking crazy. Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to say it's fake, but it looks like it's true because there's a picture where they're saying, "Look at Shazam," like it's leaked and it's out there.
Well, it was
So,
just
I
like
don't-
people thought I was crazy when I said they weren't using the word X-Men in the Marvel's offices anymore. They're like, "Oh, you're full of shit." And then one of the writers or whatever come out and said, "Oh yeah, we refer to them now as like the mutants or something like that." I'm like, "That's what I fucking told everybody," and they called me a bunch like I was full of shit. I'm like, yeah, they can't refer to them as X-Men around the office because X-Men is too toxic.
Yeah, you know what's going to be great is when they're toxic, whatever fear, people realize, hey, our branding doesn't catch on with the average everyday
Yeah.
person if we change it. So let's not. And you know what? I will say, Marvel, I fully support you changing X-Men because it's offensive, as long as every piece of merchandise that is currently in the pipeline that can be altered changes it to X people as not to be offensive. And then I want to recall on all your X-Men merchandise I've bought in the last, 10 years since Disney took over because it's offensive. So I'd like a refund. This is dumb. Dumb as
Go hard. Go hard on it.
Well, there was somebody that was telling me, and I don't know how, and again, this I'd take with a big grain of salt. Somebody was trying to tell me that the whole reason they dropped X-Men from Dark Phoenix title wasn't because to appease Disney at all, but because they are literally dropping the X-Men moniker. And people are like, no, you're crazy. You're crazy. And then that one interview come out after, and I wish I could remember which writer it was who said that, but she did. She flat out said, oh yeah, around the office, we refer to them as the mutants because X-Men just doesn't seem inclusive or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much the quote.
Should be called X-Women.
That has a whole other connotation for its comic book, but I just don't know why we can't have, well, I know why we can't have nice things. It's kind of sad and embarrassing, but the reason I had heard about X-Men, them taking a break, is because of Ike Perlmutter not wanting basically to give Fox free promotion, because the X-Men were over at Fox and they were still pumping out movies. And so Marvel canceled their comic and really they just stopped making action figures. And you're thinking, that's kind of crazy. They make 45 Wolverine action figures a year. Why would they cut themselves off? Because they did to prove a point. Now the X-Men are back with Marvel. So I fully expect the MCU to become X-Men. Not just because of, X-Men's, cool and from the 90s. Like, the X-Men property, you could basically build an MCU out of just the X-Men alone. Now, if Marvel's smart, they start... Hear me out for a second. Instead of looking at the MCU as a timeline, look at the MCU as like a map of Disney World, where it's all the MCU inside of this park. And you have your Avengers timeline over here, and you have your X-Men timeline over here. And you can have X-Men level event movies that are the same caliber as the Avengers.
Yeah.
So why cut yourself off from all of those things?
It was kind of like how they had the Daredevil TV show, and it was like in the beginning it was kind of connected to the movies, but it was its own thing. It's like you can do that with the X-Men. Yeah. Every once in a while they can connect, but most of the time they keep to their own side.
Oh, I just got an awesome idea. So, Fatty, you gave me the idea, kind of, sort of, but I'm stealing it for my own and reappropriating it. We have this thing over on Mead called the Mex-Men, which is just basically a Mexican version of the X-Men. And now I'm going to have it be the Mex-Men versus the Latinx Men.
Well, they're already close to that. They got that comic Black, where only black people have superpowers. Is that really a book? That's a real book, and it's also been optioned for a movie.
So would I get like 25% powers? Like I could move a spoon or something? I don't get like a full telekinesis. I could just move small objects.
I at least get half of the powers.
And like sometimes it doesn't work.
I want half your shit.
I just thought that they treat it like it's a great idea. It's like, whoa, like, now we can have Spanish people are the only people that get superpowers. It's ridiculously dumb. But they're gonna. I think Sony optioned it. I don't remember who. Maybe it was Warner.
Inclusion by exclusion.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah. It all sounds like shit.
Welcome to the end of the world, folks.
So let's catch up with the audience and see where this show goes.
We thought it was going to be a zombie apocalypse, nuclear war. Oh, fuck no. It's a bunch of woke idiots.
It's a woke apocalypse.
Throwing a bunch of fucking tantrums.
Now, folks, we are 204 likes away from a good morning pop culture. Like I tell everyone, even if you don't want it, somebody else in the audience does. Clearly 800 of you do. So we got to get those numbers up. Come on, these are rookie numbers. Hit that thumbs up button, folks, and next Friday you'll get a good morning pop culture. Now, Sentinel Rex says, the same reason I don't like She-Hulk is the same reason I don't like Miles Morales. They have no identity of their own. Always in the shadow of greater heroes. Sentinel Rex, thank you for your generous super chat.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying. And I do understand and appreciate that She-Hulk does have a lot of differences from the regular Hulk. But that's why I stand by my argument. Then why didn't they just make her own character then? I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it aggravates me because it's an instant turnoff. But anyway, thanks for understanding. At least somebody did.
See, I'm with Sentinel Rex about Miles Morales. I don't think any of the Spider characters have their own identity. It's like Jean-Paul Valley Batman. Why? I get it. He broke his back. Blah, blah, blah. But YellowFlash, this is the one point I was trying to make earlier in the stream when we were talking about the Clone Saga. The reason I got turned off to specific comic books as a kid was because you go to pick up a book and it's not Peter Parker like on the cartoon, it's somebody else. Or you go to pick up a Superman book and Superman's dead, or he's a cyborg, or he's this, or he's the Eradicator. And so as a little kid, that was so confusing and it was so off-putting that some characters would never become a favorite of mine because their books had such a weird barrier for entry in the 90s. X-Men, if it wasn't for that cartoon, I'd have never been a fan. Those books were hard to keep up with at 3 years old. Same with Spider-Man.
They all talk to each other. It was expensive to read X-Men.
Well, not only that, you had
especially when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, that was the other problem.
They had the blue and the gold team, and you had X.
Exactly. I was going to say, yeah, you had 20 books.
Excalibur, Wolverine solo book
in a month. Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, Marvel was just pumping them out, man. Well, that was their biggest book. That was like when Jim Lee came on. That book was blowing up, man.
Dude, it was the coolest thing on the planet.
Bananas, BANANAS.
But hey, to be fair, the Death of Superman stuff that gave Superman a shot in the arm that it needed.
It did.
Dying before he died.
But you know what's funny about that is like it wasn't even meant to be like this big deal. Did you ever hear that story?
Oh,
real quick, I guess then. Like they did it only because they had to prolong the wedding in the comics because they were going to have Superman and Lois get married, but they wanted to. ABC had requested that they hold it off so they could time it with the TV show. So what do we do? Well, this common joke that ran around the office when they didn't know what to do was let's kill him. And it was just a joke. Like they kept joking about it. And then this time they said it and they're like, well, what if we do kill him? And it really was just this joke that was supposed to be, well, we're not really going to kill him. We're going to bring him back. But so it was just supposed to be this little arc. And it just became this, the media picked up on it. Kind of like when they killed Robin. Like the media just picked up on it.
Telephone thing, call in if you want.
Yeah, it became this big like fucking thing. Like, oh my God, they're killing Superman. They're killing a legend. And yeah, it did. It really kind of just changed comic books. But you know what's sad about that, Jeff? Now is that was the most overprinted comic in history to the point where it is worth diddly shit now.
Everyone's, but it's going to be worth so much money.
No, I got a guy who was giving them away at a fucking yard sale. I've got a copy in plastic of each of the 2 issues or whatever, the black and the white issue.
Now, this is Mike Carlin. This is the guy, I'm pretty sure, who pitched the idea because I've seen the documentaries about the Death of Superman, the comic book and stuff, and he's one of the writers. But I do want to say, YellowFlash, I know it gave a shot in the arm to the character, and I'm glad it did, and I'm glad it existed and stuff. It was just so jarring to try to get into comics at a young age, and none of the characters look like they do in other forms of media. So I kind of experienced the same thing as you had mentioned earlier about getting excited to see an Iron Man movie and coming into the store and you go to pick up a comic book and he's a hologram. He's not even in the physical presence of the book.
You're like, okay, so Iron Man's that way. Well, okay, I guess that one might be different. I guess what's the Hulk? Oh, he's this Asian guy. That's not the same.
Yeah,
that's not even first man. Oh, well, I guess let's see who's Wolverine. Oh, he's having sex with Cyclops and well, okay, whatever. Let's keep it. What's oh, he's also a woman over here? What about Thor? Okay, guys. Okay. At least one of them. Okay, Thor. No, that's a woman too? Like, every single character is not what the character is from an outside
Well, have you ever seen that little animated thing that they did of Cecil and EBS where he does that whole bit about it? That's hilarious. Yeah, it's so spot on.
Good old Cecil.
Well, testosterone levels are dropping in men. That's a real thing.
It's true. Gotta have more babies, man. Gotta get out there.
Yeah. Das Pooch says, YellowFlash's defense of using She-Hulk is dumb. We don't live in the world of old comic book She-Hulk. They never use that image in Persona today.
They were using it until about 5 years ago. So, I think it was Age of Ultron was where she got shot, and they changed it. Wasn't that long ago?
The Age of Ultron comic line or comic book story, I quite enjoyed. I thought it was a cool mishmash. Was it my favorite summer storyline ever? No, but it was much better than the shit that came after it. I did not like was that Secret Wars 2 or not Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was awesome. What was the one? Yeah, I guess they redid Secret Wars or whatever after that one. That was a shitty storyline to me.
Yeah, most of the new events have been shit. So,
well, because they're
the
almost
last
like
event I really liked was House of M.
Oh God, that's pre-Civil War.
Yeah, early 2000s. That's kind of where Marvel was starting to really go off the rails.
The axe to the head. Thank you very much. We read your super chat about the contract about the Bionic Woman. Black Lotus 30. Thank you very much. He says one more day needs to be undone. Oh yeah. So it's weird. As much of a Spider-Man fan as I am, the whole story pisses me off. Undoing the marriage, everything with Peter and Mary Jane, that all makes me mad. But I just decided to go back and read old books to kind of replace, that desire. And then, I spend more money on the old books and buy the new ones, or used to buy the new ones, because they were kind of just part of the collection. But
I bought my first non-Comics Gate comic ever in a long time.
Ooh, what'd you get?
Last Ronin.
Oh, okay.
Really good.
That looks badass.
It is. It's great.
Taker 610 says straight quarter black men are the one. Wait, sorry. He says straight quarter black men are the quarter black white people, or quarter white people, or one quarter black people. Is that right? I was never good
quarter
at
black Adam.
It's so confusing.
Dude, that movie is gonna be. I know The Rock is the big star and all this stuff, but that movie looks like it's just gonna be so dumb. I hate to be that guy so early, but
aren't they already calling that movie Black Adam?
I think they're calling it
I
Black
thought
Adam.
that was the big logo. It was like Black Adam, boom, The Rock.
I don't think it ever
Shazam
had a
was
name. It
such a
just had that
stupid
big
name.
logo. I don't ever remember it necessarily having a name per se. I mean, Rock may have mentioned it, but again, I don't know if this is real or not. It could be just bullshit.
That sounds ridiculous. There's no.
But isn't he supposed to be in Shazam 2, which is supposed to be filming soon? Isn't that the whole thing?
Possibly. Dude, I have so little interest in that film that I'm not following it at all.
I enjoyed the first one, and I have
like
seen,
Shazam.
yeah, and the director has been tweeting out about it because he even shot down the whole Superman is going to be in it. He didn't. Well, I shouldn't say that. He didn't really shoot it down. He just said that it's too early to say, basically, in so many words. But as of this time, no, Superman's not supposed to be in it or something like that. Basically, I don't know if any of you guys remember the tweet better than I do, but yeah.
Now, folks, we're getting closer on those thumbs up. We're at 8:58. But after the High Council tonight, over on Mindless Entertainment, you guys have heard of a man, Andy Signore. He's been a part of Movie Fights, Screen Junkies, Honest Trailers. He's going to be joining Jesse over on her stream. What are you guys going to be covering tonight with Andy Signore?
We're going to be having a lot of fun because you don't know, Andy was Me Too'd very unfairly. So we're going to be talking about the nature of canceling. We're gonna make it fun. How do you make it fun? I don't fucking know. Find out on my show. We'll figure it out. We're also going to be playing to his strengths a little and forcing Andy to adjudicate some things against as well.
I was canceled by Piggy.
So, folks,
I brought home the bacon.
Folks, that link is in the chat right now. You can follow us over there after the show. But back to you guys. Go Big Boy or Go Home says, my pronouns are STFU, GTFO, and GFY. I wonder what those stand for. Go find Yoda. James Andrews sends in a multitude of clapping hands. So thank you very much, James Andrews. Your Muslim uncle says, could YellowFlash's joke about hiring be illegal in Canada? With coming extended protections, would it be hate speech here? Is this what we are now?
Oh, then it's talking about shredding the pronoun application.
Yeah, I guess people are...
It's probably highly illegal, but you just wouldn't tell anybody. They weren't qualified. Sorry.
Well, there is a real world problem here with this. You've had situations now where people are not hiring women that they could consider attractive because they're worried about them being problems. Because there are men that'll say, I don't want to work alone with her because they're afraid of getting Me Too'd, because they're afraid of saying the wrong fucking thing. This is becoming a problem in the workforce. I've read a few articles about this now.
Well, the world. I'm glad I don't have to deal with a lot of this shit in my everyday life because I don't think I could handle it. I'd be the kind of dude. They probably have a YouTube video of me telling somebody off at work for how dumb they are. So,
well, so I mean, I just got to
want to work with right here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I got to imagine at some point there are people who probably, are in positions like that where if you come in looking like that for a job interview, they probably don't consider you for the job simply because they see you as problematic.
Oh no, don't use their word against them, Tom.
Because that's all they fucking need. Like I've been a boss. I've owned my own business. I don't need fucking drama and bullshit. And I can tell a lot of times in an interview if somebody's going to be those things. And somebody who comes in looking like that, that's a fucking red flag. I'm sorry.
Red flag.
I remember that skit. Red flag. Mr. Tickle Trunk, thank you very much. He says, in my mid-teens to 20s, I had shoulder-length hair and a rounder jaw and was called ma'am left and center. Left, right, and center. World didn't end then either. So it's developing a thicker skin. Mr. Tickle Trunk knows. I mean, we've lightheartedly made jokes about a screen name, but it's a good message, honestly. You just, believe me, everyone's dealt with shit. And we didn't have Twitter to go to complain about it. We just kind of lived. Wanderer says, I've seen What If posts with Jason Momoa as Lobo and Willem Dafoe as the Joker. What do you guys think about those casting ideas?
Oh, I've always
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe's Joker would be amazing. I've said that for years.
That's what I'm saying. Separate movies. Then you can get your Willem Dafoe.
Too bad he's already in Aquaman, yeah.
Damn it.
I mean,
but if it's separated, see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I'd love it.
Come to my side. Come to the dark side.
Who was the other casting choice?
Jason Momoa as Lobo.
Well, wasn't he? I think he was under consideration for Lobo at one time because they've been trying to make a Lobo movie for fucking decades.
Yeah, because he's a badass character, but we don't live in an era where you could make a cool character.
Yeah, there's no way.
Pretty much Jason Momoa is playing Lobo right now, mixed with Aquaman. Valiant Renegade, thank you very much. He says, bingo, Captain Marvel fails without the BS tie into Endgame.
Yep.
I assume we're all going to agree with that one, right, folks?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's no reason to watch it. It actually didn't really tie into Endgame.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. You didn't need that film. People go, oh yeah, you do, Jeff. What about what?
Never watched it. I've never seen it.
I'm convinced there was another version of that film that Captain Marvel was booted out of, and the Russo brothers didn't like it. And I don't have any real evidence other than there was this video game tie-in that has Rocket Raccoon saving Tony, not Captain Marvel. So I don't know.
You take her out of the movie, it changes nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing changes.
I feel like the bits that she's in is like the minimal. Like they had like two different versions. They had a version where she was like crammed in everywhere, and then they had a version where she wasn't.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, especially because of a lot of the press that they had right up before then, where they had to go out of their way to make her more likable and had to make her smile. Like they had her make sure that she smiled in one scene. And,
oh my God!
Yeah, they had to make sure that she complimented everybody. Yeah, yeah. They had to. There was one version I remember of the trailer where they cut it to where she had to say, hey, not everybody had you, or she basically complimented the Avengers. They had to try and make her more likable.
Because not only that, the funny thing was is she shot all her shit for Endgame before she did Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm with you, Valiant Renegades, about that one. Now, our friend Black Lotus 30 says, anyone remember the show Mutant X?
Vaguely, yes. It was what, early 2000s? Because wasn't it tied to the original X-Men?
I vaguely remember it.
Mutant X. I don't remember.
I assure you it wasn't what's the name of that?
It was Mutant X. It was on for 3 seasons.
When did it come out?
2001.
Yep, that's what I thought it was. Yep. Yeah, because it was like right on the heels of the original X-Men. Yep.
Dude, listen to this. Some of the writers include Freddie Prinze Jr., Howard Chaykin, he's a legend, as well as Avi Arad.
What the fuck is Freddie Prinze Jr. doing right?
Yeah, what the fuck?
What's he doing in general? I don't know.
This is a live action show. What?
Yeah.
I
I
remember it
this at
vaguely.
all.
Yeah, I barely remember it.
Yeah. It was the original like X-23 kind of story. It was Wolverine's daughter. Yeah.
Oh, I got that Shazam stuff. I found it.
This looks like a porno.
Shazam.
Is this Andy Warhol?
So they said that this wasn't real. Brian Michael Bendis, who's for some reason the writer of Justice League now, says rumors are stupid, yet there's pictures of them saying Shazam right here. Even right here. Shazam has been protecting us all.
I don't want to live on this earth no more.
What the hell does that even mean? Because Shazam means something. It means Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Means he's got no Achilles and Mercury.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Only Brian Michael Bendis could come up with something so stupid.
That means he's got extra shits.
I fucking hate Brian Michael Bendis.
Why change? Oh my god, it's so dumb. Why change his name at all? His suit's still black.
Because it's problematic.
Because Brian Michael Bendis is a fucking idiot.
It's problematic, quarter black Shazam Garrett.
Well, are we going to go the extreme route at Marvel? Is he going to become something else Panther now?
I miss the 90s when everything was extreme.
I
Like
know.
X-Men
Everything's exciting and
This would be Superman extreme.
I went to a show called WWF SmackDown
Max.
Extreme once.
What was that?
Extreme? Oh, I went to a show called WWF SmackDown Extreme once.
Yeah,
that was the word they used to get you pumped.
Everything was extreme.
Extreme.
To the max.
X Games.
It had
Extreme
attitude.
Games, bro.
Valiant Renegade, thank you very much. He says, if Marvel had November slot like Strange, it gets $600 million. I guess due to times of the year, that's when it'll make that. But didn't Thor Ragnarok make a bunch more money than that? And it came out in November? Like, wasn't that like an $800 million movie?
Yeah, it did very well. What was the initial question again? Sorry.
Valiant Renegade just said if Marvel had a November slot like Strange, it gets $600 million.
No, I think because there was another movie that came out then too. I think it's
sorry. What he means is if Captain Marvel had a November release slot, like Doctor Strange, it gets $600 million.
Maybe, but here's the thing: is I think Ant-Man suffered from Captain Marvel not having anything to really do with Endgame in the film itself.
Didn't Captain Marvel come out like in February?
That came out in February, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, man, March 8th, International Women's Day.
Or March, yeah. So it was earlier in the year, and then Ant-Man and Wasp came out next, and then it was Endgame, right?
No, it goes Captain Marvel, Endgame, then Spider-Man.
yeah,
Was it-
Spider-Man was right after.
Well, where's Wasp?
No, it
before-
was Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Okay, so that
Captain
came
Marvel,
first.
and then Endgame, and then Spider-Man.
Because I was
And
trying to
that's the
remember,
last
because
one, right?
I don't remember, unless I'm
Yeah, that-
wrong, I don't remember them toting a bunch of shit about Ant-Man and Wasp having anything to do with Endgame, and that had more to do
It
with
didn't.
Yeah, and that had more to do with it in their fucking end title thing than
There was an end credit scene
yeah.
where they vanished and he was in the van, which
See,
set
'cause
up.
that's, okay, regardless of what order they came out, I'm willing to bet if they toted Ant-Man the way they did Captain Marvel with, this you have to see this to understand Endgame,
Yeah, it would
more
have been
people
huge.
would have went. But you didn't really. That's the thing. Is just but still, even that end credit scene had more to do with
Well,
Infinity War and Endgame.
you assume, okay, it's in between these movies. It's the next, the penultimate movie to Endgame. It for sure has something in it that connects it. That's very important. It didn't. They put it right there.
Stanley.
It had nothing.
Sorry, I was laughing at the picture. Paul Stanley really looks like that now. Oh my god!
When I saw them in concert, it was kind of jarring.
Yikes!
Now,
Very surprised.
Our friend Ordsboard says, "Hail, fam!" Ordsboard, thank you very much for the super chat. Hail to you. Big Fat Nerd says, no matter what Shazam ends up being called, he's going to be a perpetual victim. That's how Hollywood sees black people now. Just look at Batwoman.
Yep.
Well, aren't they already kind of making him out to be like the sympathetic anti-hero kind of thing already, with having him being played by
The Rock.
The Rock already, and then giving him his own movie and shit?
Dude, I know I'm not the authority on everything The Rock's ever done. I'm just a big fan of when he was a wrestler. But I will tell people this. It's very easy to figure out who The Rock's going to play in the movie because he plays himself in everything. So Black Adam's going to be him scowling, probably raising his eyebrow in a weird wig, and being himself as a bad guy. So I think we already know what the movie's going to be. This is kind of a... It's weird, too. Being one of the biggest actors on the planet, why do you pick one of the dumber characters to play? Oh, it could be one of his favorite, Jeff, growing up. Yeah, it could be. But, Robert Downey Jr., I don't know if Iron Man's his favorite character, nor do I care. He just does a great job playing Tony Stark and Iron Man.
I think it was clearly just a case of The Rock saw the character and he's like, I look like that.
Well, okay, here's an interesting dilemma, though. When people... I understand that.
Wrong, but...
Well, no, hold on. I wasn't calling you saying no. I look at somebody like me going, oh, what superhero do I look like? Just out of curiosity. And I go, well, I really couldn't play anybody because I don't look like anyone. And I just go, all right, not a big deal. I guess that could be the case. I mean, you are the biggest star on the planet. You need to play a superhero because
you could play an interesting version of Kingpin.
Yeah.
A very sympathetic giant.
You could, well, I don't think so. You had Michael Clark Duncan do a different colored Kingpin, and it was cool. But dude, with D'Onofrio,
no, I don't even mean that. I just mean because you have just you have softer features, you have a softer voice. You could do something like D'Onofrio, but not as dark. And I don't mean like the complexion part. I just mean
I get what you're saying, dude. Believe me, I never once. You don't say shit to me and I go, Tom means color here. No.
It's a dog whistle.
You could do a little bit more of a fun Kingpin.
I want to see the Kingpin be treated like in the comic books when he has a room full of his own henchmen go to fight him, and then he goes, you fools! You think I'm fat and slow? No, it's all muscle.
Exactly. That would be you. That's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, you'd have fun with it.
Somebody in the chat says I look like a Ram Jamaram. Well, you know what that means, right?
Don't do that. You shut your fucking mouth.
Right.
You don't ever say that to Jeff again. I'll come fight you in the chat. I'm kidding.
I wish Disney would say Ram Jam Ram was based off me.
That would be amazing if they come to you and be like, yeah, we totally want you to play this.
I'd do it.
I would love it if you did. And you'd have to do just a bunch of like tongue-in-cheek shit so we know you're fucking with everybody.
See, I wouldn't tell anyone that I was just like, guys, I'm taking a couple weeks off the channel, family stuff. Secretly, I went and filmed the High Republic movie. Why? Why would you ever waste money on a High Republic film? And why would you? I guess I should take it as a compliment if it's one of those things where it's like it's based off me. It's like, I get it. Cool. I'm not offended by it. Thank you.
I think it's hilarious.
Valiant Renegade says the best 90s comics, Spawn, Todd McFarlane, and Ray from Valiant, still sitting on a McFarlane Spider-Man 300 first full Venom appearance. Nice book. I too own that. YellowFlash, do you own a Spider-Man 300, or Garrett, do you?
I think my dad does, actually.
I've got one.
Wow.
It had like that badass like 90s it was like metallic.
There is a version that has a metallic cover, yeah.
I don't have that one. I just have the standard one.
Same here. The metallic one, I'm pretty sure was like I think that's the re-release. Like it was such
I think it was a re-release. I can look it up.
That was my favorite comic book buying story ever, even though it's kind of in hindsight, I should be pissed because my comic book store ran the card wrong. And, you think, oh, Jeff, it was this traumatic event. Now, the book was such a big deal to me to get that I kind of overlooked, an overdraft fee and stuff. That's how much of a nerd I am for Spider-Man comics. So, number 300, man, Valiant Renegade, that's a great book.
I'm really pissed because I was gonna buy an Amazing Fantasy 15 this year, like a low grade one, and all the cons are gone now, so I'm not gonna be able to find one. I don't want to do it online. I don't trust it.
Nor do I. That's on my bucket list of things to own in my life.
Honestly, you can get a 0.5 or a 1 probably for about $8,000.
It sounds crazy. But man, I really want to pull the trigger on that. But I'm going to tell myself this. Yeah, it's one of those bucket list things that I'm going to work hard to get. I know it's crazy. I'm not saying I need a 10. They don't really exist. I know the CG grading is subjective to some people too. But one day I would like to own a mid-range, maybe 5 or a 6 Amazing Fantasy, and then a higher grade Amazing Spider-Man #1. Those are my 2 Grail piece comic books. Once I reach those, the rest is just fill in, and then I'm done. Because there's a line I'll draw. I want to collect the first 700 issues of Spider-Man, and I have a good chunk of that. So I'm almost
I
done.
just like to have it. I don't know. I'd take a shitty version. I just want it intact. I want all the pages and cover because some of them don't have anything. Like they're missing pages and shit.
Well, the cool thing about a book like that is it's a piece of history in your hands. And I know people go, oh, that's exaggerating. No, it really is. If a book like that can fetch $1 million in great condition and build a multi-billion-dollar franchise and really, help a company become legendary, then that is a piece of history in your hands. And one day I will get to touch one. I haven't even gotten to see one in person yet, an Amazing Fantasy 15, but
yeah, I've seen them at the conventions. They're amazing to see.
What is your favorite con to go to? I mean, I don't know what neck of the woods you're in, but do you have a personal favorite?
Oh, the Chicago one is the one I've gone to a bunch.
Oh, C2E2?
Yeah.
Oh, one day I want to go. I've only been to a couple cons and I've worked a couple, but yeah, great memories. One day C2E2, that's on the list.
If cons ever come back.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be
Such
a
a
long
bummer.
time.
I can wait. Hopefully, as a collector, but like this, I always am, rooting for the small businessman. But as a collector, it's nice to go to some of these cons when times or whatever, because you can get great deals. Like, folks, take cash and go support your local vendors. You can get great deals, and you're helping them out as much as them making a sale. Sometimes haggling, they're still making 200% markup on a product. So talk to these people. It's fun. I never want to pay sticker price at a convention. Never, unless only person I'll pay sticker price to is somebody that's selling me a piece of art, like Neil Adams or somebody, even though he's a big name. I would never ask somebody that's drawing for me to cut me a deal. I guess it's weird ethics, but I digress. You guys don't think comic conventions are ever coming back?
I'm afraid they don't, because they rely on that income to kind of start the next one, right? So I mean, it's a bummer. I hope so.
Yeah.
I love that account.
Who?
Bugle Daily.
Oh yeah, stop glorifying Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's a menace.
One of my favorite memes ever is the picture. It's like a guy and his girlfriend, and it's like when she wants to send nudes, but all you want is pictures of Spider-Man. And I'm just like, oh, it's such a nerdy meme, but it's hilarious as shit. So our friend Valiant Renegade, again, thank you very much for everything tonight. He says, Jeff and Tom, always gracious and professional host. I admire and aspire to be on YouTube. Flash, love the channel. Mecca, new fan of yours, and sub. Quarter Black is my favorite Crowder guy. I'm Mug Club. Thanks to you all.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Valiant Renegade. And if you're ever looking to go to be on YouTube, here's a piece of advice. Consistency. In the beginning, it's going to suck. Yep. Don't expect to get a ton of views in the beginning. Go in and tell yourself even one view is a success. You'll get a view easy. And then you'll keep working towards it. So if you aspire to be on YouTube, the process sucks in the beginning. Not going to lie to you. Once you work through it, it's amazing. And plus, the cool part is talk to people in the community. A lot of people can help. We were talking to a guy the other day in the community tab. And he's like, yeah, I just hit 500 subscribers. And now he's on his way to 1,000. And it keeps on rolling, man. So I know it's unsolicited advice, but YouTube is awesome. Takes time to get here. But if you don't give up, you will make it. It's all about, putting out the content.
My advice is show your penis. You will get famous instantly.
Million views.
Make sure your channel will never get monetized.
Just make sure you put it as nude yoga.
No, Jeff, you're not even thinking right. You don't put it in the title.
So you want to pull like a John Ritter on Three's Company where your ball randomly pops out and not tell anybody. Got it.
It just happens to fall out real quick randomly. You don't.
That's why everyone watches our channels, right?
Exactly. It's in our. You go back to our first or second or third video. There's a random dick shot in every one of them, guaranteed.
Yeah. It's like Fight Club, folks. Can you find the hidden porn in all the minutes?
Just one frame.
First rule about YouTube: we don't talk about YouTube.
That is a good piece of advice to grow on the platform.
No, my real advice would be actually no, and I'm sure Yellow Flash would and Garrett would have much better advice than I could give. But just besides consistency, find something that is unique to you that you are passionate about, because it's something that could be that nobody else does, and it'll come through. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So don't try to do what everybody else is doing.
Authenticity.
Yeah. Our friend Andres Fernandez says there's a pic of Captain Marvel fighting in Vormir against Thanos' forces, protecting Clinton and Natasha. So she was more present in that cut. Oh, well, I mean, if there's photos of it, we've reported last year, 2 years ago, on the alternate cut of that. So, yeah. Now, Adam Walford says Mutant X is taking place in another timeline where the mutants were made by ancients. By accident, a drug that was given to pregnant women and gave people powers. That sounds terrible as a premise.
Yeah.
I'm glad the show.
Women have powers?
Well, I'm just glad. Sorry, I just read EVS drew all the penis in the chat. Well, somebody's got to draw them all. Thanks, Ethan. Thank you
It's
for your
almost
service.
like, well, in the Ultimate X-Men, that's what the government did. The government created mutants. In the Ultimate Universe?
I'm still laughing at EVS. I'm sorry. EVS drew all the penises. Yes.
Valiant Renegade says HR film, the Acolyte show, you mean, never happens. High Republic film. Now, the Acolyte show, I'm going to be talking about that in a video I got coming out on Friday. Sorry, no, I'm not. I'm going to be talking about the Rangers of the New Republic. I don't give a shit about the Acolyte. Sorry. Hills Mallory, thank you very much. Hillis Mallory says, I hope the She-Hulk thing, I'm hoping that She-Hulk on the Disney Plus show is the lawyer, not the steroid monster we have in the current schlock.
I think it's supposed to be the lawyer, from my knowledge. But
now,
I'm not too. Here's the thing: who's writing on it again, Mecca? I'm sorry, I know you know this though.
It's Dana Schwartz.
Dana Schwartz,
the
thank
Jennifer Walters one. So yeah, I don't know. Dana Schwartz is the one who had all those anti-white male tweets, and we should just burn books written by white dudes. Oh, shut up.
Our friend Adrian Vergara, thank you very much again. He says the best Kingpin had to be from Spider-Man the Animated Series when he was voiced by Roscoe Lee Brown.
I agree.
It's a good Kingpin.
We actually had a good string. I can't think of one bad Kingpin. Even the John Rhys Davies one was all right from back in the day.
I don't really have any trouble with Kingpins. I do have a preference, but I don't hate any of them.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we've had a bad one yet, though. So yeah, we've gotten lucky in that respect.
And our friend Ordsboard says, I'm at C2E2 every year with some YouTube friends, and we go in on a booth. We run interviews and live streams all weekend. I love C2E2.
That's my boy. I was supposed to go out there with him last time, but shit happened with the stuff.
Well, when the world goes back to normal, we should try to go to C2E2 and just hang out with Ordsboard. So I'd like to make that happen. And then finally, our friend Valiant Renegade. Again, dude, thank you for everything tonight. He says, I'm on here now, all for fun, not money. Well, that's a great mentality to have. Even if you don't want to get monetized.
Yes.
If you're going to grow,
I see too many people turn into assholes trying to make it, in quotations, on YouTube, when really you have to think of it as a hobby at first, because we're really like, the odds are against it no matter what. Like I'm well aware that where I'm at is because I got where I am because of Midnight's Edge, obviously. And, stuff like that. And YellowFlash has done what he's done, and Garrett's done what he's done, and Mecca's done what they, and so on with Jeff. So and Jesse too in the background there. So we've all done what we've done and gotten here, and it's an uphill battle no matter what.
I didn't intend it to be the job at first, but then it just kind of became one, and then it's like once you're doing it as the job, then you want to dedicate that much time to it. So
is to make it a hobby, make it something you like to do, post stuff, and then if it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, you're still having fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. That's why I say pick something you're passionate about. That's the main reason. Yeah.
Agreed. So, folks, we have reached the end of the High Council, but the party does not stop. Over on Mindless Entertainment, we'll be hanging out with Andy Signor talking about stuff. So I'm going to drop the link right now in the chat. Make sure you guys are also signed up for the Fandom Menace edition of the comic. That is going to have a cover from Anna, that Star Wars girl, and that will be going live real soon, but this is just the coming soon link. All you want to sign up to be notified when stuff happens. So before we go, Garrett, where can we find you on the internet, sir?
I am on Twitter and Minds.com if you want to follow me over there on Minds. I have a YouTube channel, Black Garrett. You can find me there. Next week, I'm actually doing an experiment with my channel because I upload sporadically because it takes long to make these my crafting videos. Mm-hmm. So next week, I'm going to be streaming every day. I'm going to stream every day, probably at like 6 or 7 Central Time. So go follow that over there, and we're gonna have fun playing games and whatnot. And it'll be crazy. But thanks for having me on again. It was a lot of fun.
Garrett, I
swiped
right on you on Twitter. Why haven't you swiped me back?
What are you talking about? What?
Or on Tinder, I swiped right on you. Why didn't you swipe me back? Swipe me back.
Why are you
now, YellowFlash, where can we find you on the internet, sir?
You can find me on YouTube at YellowFlash and YellowFlash2. YellowFlash2 has the check mark. I don't have it on the YellowFlash one yet. I know it's a crazy story. You can find me on Twitter and on Minds as well, and various other social medias. I'm on Odyssey and BitChute now.
Mecca, where can we find you at on the internet?
My YouTube channel is MeccaRandom42. I upload every single day, at least something. Been doing cooking streams in the evenings and our afternoon streams and everything. Short videos. Got the Cracker Barrel video coming up pretty soon here. And Patreon, Twitter, Twitch, Midnight's Edge After Dark. I'm trying to remember. I always forget half of them. And yeah, and here. So that's I'm everywhere.
Now, folks, like it says on the screen, there's only 82 likes to go, so you can hit that thumbs up button. Tom, where can we find you on the internet?
Hit that like button or I'm going to come hit you. Hit it now.
All right, Batman. While they're doing that, where can we find you on the internet, Tom?
You can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Perfect. Folks, you can find me here on this channel all the time. I'll be back tomorrow with a video about some stuff that I know you guys want us to talk about. So join us. It's fun. The last video talking about Disney unofficially abandoning the sequel trilogy was a massive success. So there's a sequel. Come back tomorrow, new footage, all kinds of new stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and that'll be out tomorrow in the morning. Make sure you join us over on Jesse's stream right now, though. So, folks, be like Pagan God X. Hit the thumbs up, press that like button, like they say. It doesn't look like we made it tonight, folks. We were so close. 926 out of 1,000. So next week, folks, we're going to try it again. We're going to make it happen because I like doing Good Morning Pop Culture. So from all of us here on the High Council, thank you for watching. Good night. Be safe, be smart, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.
And spay and neuter your pets.